Well, hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Culturally Rooted. You know, it's your boy Cousin here. And you know, I got my dude Cousin on the right to me.
Yes, sir.
What up, Cousin?
Bula. Hey, yo, look, before we start cooking in this episode, we just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor. Look, I got a few products in front of me right now. We got the traditional kava right here, but what we also got is the micronized version. So if you don't know what this is, you don't need that strainer no more. This one, you just throw it in with the water, mix, you good to drink right there. So look, we got all types of different products. Plug in with Kamakava and use the discount code CULTURE to get 10% off.
Or you got the gummies here. It's GMO, gluten-free. It's all natural. I popped one in just recently. It's very good.
Look, if you don't mix kava, you don't got all day to sit in a circle, you don't want to do what Cousin's got, you're not into gummies, well, check this out. I got something even better for you. I got guava and I got iced tea. It's extract. You got to mix an ounce of this with 5 ounces of water, and you wait 15 minutes for it to take over, and then you can start serving it. So what I'm saying is, this is already kava. Shout out Calm with Kava for messing with Culturally Rooted. Like Cousin said, use the promo code CULTURE to order you some. And we got a saying, if you want to stay rooted.
You want to stay rooted, culturally rooted, stay rooted with Calm with Kava.
And back to the episode.
But no, hey, since we're going on, I got to bring him in, Cousin. Look, our guest for today needs no introduction. It is the one and only Benjamin Cas Haley.
Hey!
Hey, first of all, man, we appreciate you for doing this, man.
Hell yeah.
Thank
I'm
you, man.
faking right now, look. For real, man. It's
Cas Haley's a legend, bro.
It's crazy, but we're going to get into that.
We here now.
But first of all, man, for real, we appreciate you for taking time to come on the podcast, man, and let us go through this journey with you. We believe, me and Cousin believe in things happen for a reason and people cross paths for a reason. So
Yeah, man.
glad that you called.
I'm honored to be here. I love Salt Lake City, and when you guys reached out the last time I was around, I was like, yeah, I got to do this.
Ooh, let's go. We're going to talk about that, though, Cash.
Man of his word.
Right. We're going to talk about that, Cash. But look, on Culturally Rooted, we like to go all the way back to the roots.
Yeah, come on.
You know what I mean? People see who you are now, Cash, but to us, it's the journey.
They still can't figure it out.
Yeah, to us, it's the journey, Cash. So we want to go through this journey with you, man. Where's Cash from, man? Where's Cash born and raised?
You know, I was raised in Northeast Texas, a rural area about 100 miles outside of Dallas, Paris, Texas.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Grew up there, went to school there, dropped out of school there for music, of course. Don't drop out of school, wherever you're at. Don't drop out of school. But, you know, early on, I fell in love with music really early, and that's all that there ever was. You know, I grew up outside of Paris as well, about 15 miles in the middle of nowhere. My parents were both musicians.
That's right. That's right.
And so they were always pursuing kind of a side career in music as well. And they gave me my first instrument, and I started playing. You know, by the time I was 12, I was madly in love.
What was the instrument they gave you?
Guitar.
Guitar? What
You know?
was that?
Okay.
8 years old? Is that what you?
I was about
Some-
12.
12,
Yeah,
oh,
I was
okay.
about 12 years old. And but yeah, man, I mean, I'm still living in that area.
Oh, yeah.
You know, over the years, I've lived in different cities around Texas, Austin and Dallas and stuff. And then I moved back in like 2008 and bought a little piece of land and have a little farm out there and stuff. And,
Okay, look.
you know,
look.
Yeah, hold on, Cash, hold on.
we can stay back at the roots because there's a lot more that includes
Right, that's
this
what.
place.
Yeah, see?
So,
Let's stay there a little bit, just a little bit, Cash, just a little bit.
So, I used to live here. I lived here. I lived in Murray. I lived in Ogden. I lived all around Pleasant Grove,
In Utah?
in Utah. So my mom and her family are from around here. My mom was born and raised in Pocatello, and a lot of her family lived around here, and so she was raised LDS, and she ends up moving to Texas and meets my father. They get married down there, and then we relocate right after I was born to Salt Lake City. And my parents went through the whole 4-year kind of thing where they got married in the temple. And yeah, totally. I'm no longer a practicing member of the church, but I have.
So you grew up in it, though.
Yeah, I did. My mom was the real. My mom is still pretty much a practicing member.
Okay.
My father, I think he for a long time really was. I mean, you have to go through the whole temple thing and everything that
For sure.
includes. But I think he was kind of doing it for my mom, where he was like kind of a spiritual guy that was like, I love you.
Right.
True love story.
So we lived here on and off. Like, I lived here several times. I still have lots of family here in the city.
That's crazy.
There'll be
Utah's home to you in somewhat.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, I've always loved this place, and I've always got love for the people here and stuff, and had nothing but good experiences.
Hell, Cash, you just fucked me up. Sorry, I had to cuss.
I was baptized by Elder Funaki from Tonga.
Huh? What?
That's your uncle.
I'm about to say, what your
That's his uncle.
Is this?
I don't know what his first name was, but I was like, 8 or was it 12? Like
The 12.
is 12 the right?
It's 8. It's 8 when you get baptized.
So yeah, so I think I was 8, and
Stop.
Elder Funaki.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
bro.
so I've been trying to. I'd like to locate like what family he's from. He said he was
Hawaii.
He said he's from Tonga.
Yeah, he's Tongan, but just what I'm saying, Elder Funaki, if this is the one we're talking about,
So if you're
he's the
out there-
patriarch. He's the patriarch in Hawaii.
So yes, so the and me being
Oh my
being a
gosh, this is
country boy,
crazy.
me being a country boy from Texas, I don't know the validity of any of this, but the story was, and I've heard this a lot from different.
I know.
Hey, you're tripping me out right now,
I've heard
bro.
this a lot from different islanders that family's royalty.
Right.
So this guy, there was, and I don't know if he said it or if somebody, another missionary or something like that was like, his family's royalty in Tonga,
That's him. That's your uncle.
Hey, look, the Islanders be messing around a lot too, so they probably trying to like, hey, he's not, but maybe he is. Look,
Hey, I've met several people that said they were royalty. And I was like, you know what? Me too.
there you go.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what? Cash, I'm royalty too now. Then you know what I mean?
Hey, we're gonna go locate
that's
Elder
crazy.
Funaki.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And that's
Cash, we are fat.
there's
brother.
there's a connection from when I was a little kid. I was
gosh, dude.
Wait,
always
so what age were you here in Utah? Like growing
so
up?
as
Eight?
multiple times.
Oh,
So
okay.
on and off through elementary school, from the time I was like 1 all the way through really till I was 16, back and forth.
Wow.
So like this, the truth and the true honesty of the conversation is whenever my parents would get in an argument or a fight and didn't think they were going to be able to make it,
You come back
mama
to Utah.
come back to Utah, and a lot of times
stay
I
with
would
family. Oh, okay.
Typically, my dad would be following about 3 weeks behind.
Typical man.
Then we then we would move up here for a little while and then back, and then it would happen again. This was always a spot where my mom would come back to, and we were back and forth all the time. My parents,
Cash.
they were really interesting. My mom was raised LDS. My dad was a total country hippie. I mean, really wild man, blues man, rock and roller.
Yes, God.
And so I think the struggle was those kind of clash of reality.
Right.
And always kind of, my dad wanting to rock and roll and party all the weekends, and my mom trying to do the right thing with the family. And there was 5 of us kids, me and 4 girls. And so, it was an interesting kind of ride,
for
back
sure.
and forth.
Cash.
Ooh,
Hey, thank you for letting. Oh, that's a dope story.
Hey.
Thank you
I was
for
trying
letting
not to get
us
too
know that.
heavy.
Nah, you
You
good.
just made fans for life saying you
ain't
was in
lying.
Utah and growing up here.
Right.
It's a different world out here, and a lot of people don't understand it. So, for someone like from your stature to be like, "Hey, I know Utah.
Right.
I've been there. I've done that."
I like it.
See, and he
I
likes it. So
I like it.
Come
What
on,
was your
man.
first job, Cash, growing up?
My first job growing up, I poured concrete. So my father had a concrete company, and so digging ditches, pouring concrete,
That's hard work.
building forms,
Ooh.
and I did that,
You're Tongan, you know that, right?
Yeah. you just
described everything we
You're
do.
talking, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where my roots are, is in construction and pouring, and I still do a lot of construction for myself as well.
Oh, okay.
And if I wasn't a musician, I'd probably be building houses or something like that.
yeah.
you know?
Okay, look, let's get back to this though. You
Yeah,
said
come on.
you said you started finding your passion for music at like 12, right? You got the guitar.
That's when it.
Start
That's when
jamming.
it was like became a me thing. Like I'd always loved music before, meaning I'd sing in the car with my sisters, and you know how music affects us.
Right, right.
But when I got that guitar on Christmas, I mean, I think I woke up like 2:30 a.m. and Santa probably just came. You know,
waiting for that.
I went to bed at like 6. Like the sooner I go to bed, the earlier I can
get up.
And you know, that guitar was sitting under there. I still have that first guitar.
For real?
I do.
Wow.
It's a PV Patriot. Anyways, I sat there all morning and I just fell in love. And I can promise you, I really, since that day, I really haven't entertained the idea of doing anything else.
Really?
I mean, and that if people say, hey man, you got a talent, you got a gift. Well, if I have a gift, it's that. It's falling in love with it and having commitment.
Yes.
Because that's what a lot of people, like, they don't get the I mean, I can't take credit for that. I can't take credit for falling in love with that. It just happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not, and it was very easy for me to only do music because that was the only thing that was really
Makes sense.
enchanting and inspiring and sort of consumed me, you know?
Hey, that's dope. Look, let me ask you this though.
come on.
What was the first song you learned how to play on your guitar?
So first song, first of all, I was very bad about learning like songs. So I learned, the first thing I ever learned, my dad showed me the 12-bar blues, which is boom, dum, 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 gong, 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 gong. You know, classic. It's basically the rhythm of every blues song.
Got you.
You know,
Got you.
and so that was the first thing that I learned. And then from there, I remember learning More Than Words. You remember that song?
Was that Eric Clapton?
No, it was some twins with dark hair in the 80s.
Man.
More than words, so it's true. I'm saying I love you, boy. Ooh, I can't even sing it now. But I remember learning that about halfway because I was, like I said, I was really bad about learning songs all the way through
Got you.
because it was so much easier just to make stuff up. And so from the get,
Hey, sometimes
from the
was
get-go,
already like that.
I was writing and I was like messing around and just exploring. I was kind of like, at the time I hadn't been diagnosed dyslexic, but I was really kind of a different kid. You know, I didn't learn the same way other kids. So looking at things and learning that way wasn't really good. I needed to experience it and put my hands on it.
Different.
And so I really started writing and kind of exploring and creating, and that was way more fun than learning other stuff.
Right.
Now I'm trying to catch up, trying to learn a bunch of stuff. 'Cause I realize I can only get so far without, you know, going down the library of all the beautiful music that's been created.
That's crazy.
But that sounds like a real musician to me, cousin.
Hey, but look, real quick though, like having a mother and father that were both musicians, like were you ever like super eager, like, ooh, when is it my turn? Like,
You know, yeah, I think before I got that guitar, I kind of was, you know, I think the reason I got it is because they knew that I was ready. I was needed something, you know, because I remember, you know, singing in the car on these long trips that we took. And keep in mind, there's 5 kids, 4 girls. I'm the baby boy, and all my sisters telling me to shut up, you know. and in my mind, I sounded exactly like the radio. You know, that was just in my mind.
We all do.
But I think that was probably the calling when they're like, "Well, Cass, man, that little kid is singing in the back of his soul, and he won't will not shut up."
Nah, but Cash, really though, it's like, it's your voice, man. It's like there's a different tune to it. You can hear like the hurt and the peace at the same time. Like, you feel me? Like, there's people that can sing. We all know people who can. You know, Whitney Houston, who can get out of this world, but your voice is unique because you can feel the pain through it. That makes sense. So it's like, so you can feel it in your soul. That's why we call it soul music, because
feel all them trips back and forth to Salt Lake City.
come on.
That's so it's dope. So it's dope, man.
Yeah, you know, it's like the thing. My childhood was definitely tough. Now, there's a lot of people that have it tougher than me. And, you know, my parents were doing their best.
Right,
but I
right.
definitely experienced a lot of like things that made me feel abandoned or not secure. You know what I mean? No, it's not fun being stretched between two parents. And they always gave me a choice. That's even harder though. Because then it's on you as a kiddo. You know what I'm saying?
You
It's
don't wanna
even harder
choose,
when you
yeah.
get the kid. It's like you want to switch like, Dad, stand here, boy.
Right.
But, you know, through all that, you know, my parents, they're trying to work it out, doing their best. The thing they blessed me with through that, which really, really, really gave me the foundation that I built upon, is they never once, ever told me who I was. They didn't tell me what I had to be. They told me I could be anything, and I believed it. 100%.
Hey, how powerful is that though?
Dude, it's one of the most powerful things
Amen.
because, you know, the way we are as humans, I mean, we can fall into any dream,
Right.
even if it's someone else's,
Right.
of what for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Preaching right now.
I know. We're going to church
No,
right
that's
now.
facts though. That's facts though.
So it's really beautiful when you have people that, even though they're mixed up, they're wise enough to say, you know, you're your own person. You can do anything you want. We're not going to tell you what school you got to go to, what sports you got to play. You know, hopefully you can pass the grade. You know, you don't have to make A's.
Right.
You know, do your best. I just never felt much pressure from them to be anything other than what I was and what I was comfortable with.
Shout out your parents.
Hey, shout out parents.
So they,
yeah, man.
you know, and my dad's no longer here with us, but that was a major blessing. And my dad taught me how to work.
Hey,
You know, pouring concrete ain't no joke.
Look, that's
And
one
doing
thing.
doing hard things, that's another lesson they gave me of like,
Your work
you know,
ethic.
we'll be out there on the concrete job and we got to dig 2,500 foot of trench
Right.
with a shovel. There ain't no ditch diggers in 1989 or if there was, my dad wasn't
Didn't have
renting
one.
them.
Yeah.
It was me and
got
two
my
other
boy.
junkies.
Right.
that
It's still out there.
$5 an hour at the time.
Got the job done though.
First, y'all got to go break the concrete, and then we'll take it.
Totally, 100%. Like, so going through those kind of motions of doing really hard things and seeing what's possible with focus, it's just like, it's kind of life changing. You know what I mean? Because, like, you know, not much is hard after you dig 2,500 feet of trench that's 3 foot deep and 2 foot wide, and you and a couple other lops that none of y'all are strong, but you did it.
Then after that, almost nothing else can seem hard because
Not
you want to
really.
feel hard.
Yeah.
Go and do that, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine a 6-week commitment of digging every day. You know.
I don't want to think about that shit.
know.
No, and I definitely. It also taught me that I don't want to do concrete work.
Hey,
See, that's what we talk about, man.
Facts, yeah. That's our people right there.
That's what we talk about. That's why we're sitting in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Unless I can save money and doing it for myself.
Nah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
cool.
There you go.
Now, shout out your pops for doing that, man. One crazy.
His name was Bear Haley.
Bear Haley.
Hey,
Bear
Hey, shout out Bear Haley, man, for teaching you
R.I.P.
that, man. That's me and cousin too has lost our dad too, and one thing we talk about is crazy that we figure out everything they did for us once we got older. You know what I mean? Like growing up, it was just I was like, man, this man don't hates me. You know what I mean, why am I digging and all
Why
this
you
stuff?
hating? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why am I out here burning in the sun? But once like my dad's gone, I grow up now and I'm thinking, man, that guy was a blessing in my life.
Life lesson, right?
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Do
it's
you
too
hear-
late for me now to.
Do you hear all those lessons
Right.
as you're going through
Right.
your
Oh,
daily?
yeah.
I feel his spirit and I feel my dad's
Fact.
voice
Yeah.
of all those things he taught me.
Right. There's
you
still
know?
times I'll drive and then I'll just start crying because I'm like, that's him telling me, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And one thing that he always says is like, could you imagine the conversation we would have with him now? You know what I mean, Cash? If they were here,
what
could
a
you
great-
imagine you
and,
going?
and you know, I'm sort of out there. I still believe you can have it with him. Meaning, I believe you're having it with
Make
him
me cry,
right
Cash.
now.
You better stop.
Because
Cash,
the spirit is connected, brother. They hear us and they feel us, and that's you know, I kind of when my dad died, the day he died, I was blessed with an experience where I was getting into a bitterness place because of the reaction of all my sisters. They were making it all about them, right? And so I was judging them in kind of a harsh way.
Right.
Like, why are they making it all about them? And then all of a sudden, man, I go out and I'm cleaning up the front yard because one of my sisters downed a bunch of beer on the way to my father's deathbed. And this is like 9 a.m. in the morning.
Damn.
Yeah, well, she's tripping, right? She ain't usually down in the 6-pack at 9 a.m. But
tripping today.
since Dad's dying, she
Yeah, especially today.
go ahead and hit it. Well, she ended up freaking out, leaving the house, and left the beer bottles in the front yard. And I was just like, I was like, this, you know what?
Right.
Leave, on his day that he died, throwing beer bottles in the yard. And as I was picking up these beer bottles, the clouds, parted, the sun hit my face, and I had this moment of grace and this moment of clarity, and I felt like it was my dad saying, "Don't judge your sisters. They're going through their own way and their own loss. Just because you got this
Right.
and you feel stable
Right.
emotionally with what's happening right now, don't mean anybody else does." So, and ever since that day, every time the sun hits my face, I'm like, I feel it. I feel the spirit. I mean, the strength and just some of the wisdom that he taught me.
Amen, man. Look, let's move on before you make me cry, man.
Straight church.
Man, let's move on.
I like that though. I like that.
Look, okay, Cash, graduated school?
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
Well, what grade was it where you said, I'm out?
You know what's funny? I moved to Salt Lake City. So my sophomore year, I was pretty mixed up at the time. I had already fully committed to music, and that's where my thoughts were. And I also was like a little punk, meaning like the way that I dressed, like I had like piercings and mohawks and like punk rock,
Rebellious.
Yeah, and the school district that I was in was a very conservative school district, and so I was getting all kinds of I was having all kinds of problems, getting all kinds of whatever they call it, checks, or, getting taken to the office, getting kicked out of school, all because of the way that I was dressing. And I decided at that point, like, public school had nothing else for me. And so I had a band at the time, me and this other guy, and we decided we were going to move. This will tell you how crazy my parents are too. And we moved. My parents found out we were going to move, and they said, "Well, we'll go with you."
For real?
Yeah, that's how cool.
That's dope, man.
That's hella dope. Hell yeah.
So, and they had some property. They were just going to pack up. They're just going to leave the property, and keep the property down there. But then we all took a trip up here to Salt Lake City, and ended up moving to Pocatello. Thought we were going to be in Salt Lake City. And that lasted for about 6 months or so. And then I moved back down to Paris. And before that, I had various bands as a teenager and stuff.
Okay.
Since the time I was like 13, I've been, putting bands
Hey,
together.
okay, I got to ask you this then,
Wild,
since you were doing that.
Yeah, come on.
What was like your first name? Did you always go by Cas Haley, or did you
Oh,
have...
no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was all band names until I ended up on that TV show.
Okay, so what was the name?
So
What was the name
the
of
first band name was the Ragamuffins.
Ooh,
Which-
I like that. I know what that means.
Which was poorly clothed children. When in the reality of where that root of that
I didn't know
slang
that. I thought it was
comes
like,
means
okay.
poorly clothed children. Now you see that in reggae culture
Right.
and
Yeah,
stuff
all
like
over.
that, ragamuffin. But we were a punk band, and it was me and my buddy Josh Hutchins and his brother John Rhodes. I played bass. I wasn't the singer.
Oh.
I was just like a backup
Is this
singer.
a bass?
And my buddy John, if you're listening, you're a great singer. You should still be singing. He's still my homie. He don't sing no more, man.
That's what's up, man.
Come on, Josh.
Yeah,
Get
come
the
on,
mic
man.
again,
Shout
bruh.
out to Broken Oak.
Hey, there you
Broken
go.
Oak.
That's his beef ranch. He's a cowboy now. We're all cowboys.
Hey,
Man.
hell yeah. That's dope, though.
Yeah, so
Ragamuffin.
Ragamuffins.
That's
And there's many other band names after that.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
there gotta be, though, huh?
Oh, I
But look, like, how was that feeling that you just didn't want to go to school and you're going to pursue music and your parents following you? Like, that's big.
I mean, they really supported me, and my mom was very supportive in like me wanting to express myself artistically and with the way that I dressed. And she didn't agree with the school district on their dress code and stuff like that, because I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't a great student. I just barely passed. You know what I mean? Just gave it just enough to get by.
Hey,
Right.
we all
You
been
know?
there. We all been there.
Yeah. And to have their support like that all the way through it was huge, you know? I mean, it is cool that they moved up too, but it also is crazy.
Right. It is though for them to be like.
Meaning in order for a parents to do that, you would have to think that their situation where they're at
Not as
is
good.
not very
It's not good,
So
right.
they're gonna be like, you know what? We ain't liking it either.
Get the hell out of here.
Let's go.
Yeah, we'd always come back. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Look, let me get into this though. A little further. So let's move on a little further. So, what made you want to get on AGT?
So I never. really,
Or did you get invited, or how does that work?
it's a funny story. I used to. So my wife, Cassie, me and Cassie, we've been together for like over 25 years.
Hey, shout out your wife.
Yeah, shout out Cassie,
Cassie,
man.
I love
Hold on,
Yeah.
before we move on though, how did you two meet?
There you
Can
go.
we just get in that? Yeah, I
just
didn't know.
real quick,
Yeah,
real quick.
just real quick.
I was. I'd already moved back to Paris from Salt Lake City after that band thing. This was maybe a year and a half later. I've got a band in Paris, a ska band called 40 Cents Off. And it's like an 8-piece, full horn section and stuff. And that was kind of my passion.
Oh, yeah.
And I was doing that as my main passion, but I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Applebee's washing dishes, and I was working at the shoe store.
Yeah, washing dishes.
I washed dishes
that grind.
for 7 or 8 months at Applebee's. I tell you, first person at the restaurant, last person to leave, one of the hardest workers. Be kind to your dishwashers.
Hey,
Man,
let's
tell 'em,
go.
talk to 'em,
The
yeah.
disrespect that a dishwasher gets, people throwing full ramekins of mayonnaise in the bucket with water and
Right.
stuff. Boy, it's a hard
No,
job.
hey, you ain't lying.
I
man.
believe
Hey,
that.
that's what's up, man.
The looks that the other people that have the, bartenders and the other jobs,
Right.
Yeah, this is just the dishwasher. So I was hustling, and I've always been a type A kind of like person that's got to be doing something. So it was kind of easy for me to have 2 jobs and hustle and try to do my thing. And I had this friend from high school, Candace, who was like, I had already quit school, and she started like we would see each other around, and one day she brought her cousin. And her cousin, I was really interested in. Her name was Cassie.
Hey.
My name's Cass. Her name's Cassie.
It works out.
And, she's got brown hair. I've always been into dark-haired girls.
Okay.
So I asked Candace if she would ask. I did that. I was like,
Right,
I think it's okay. Like, ask her if it's worth me to ask.
Just get the okay from me.
And so from there, it was kind of a done deal. I mean, I was in love from the first date.
That's what's up.
And it wasn't very long, maybe a week or 2 after that, I probably had met her a few times for a few months, and then ended up, she got brought over to my house with her cousin. So I had seen her around, so I sort of knew of her, but then it became something real once she stopped by my house with her cousin, and I asked the whole thing. And we've been together ever since.
No,
That was
look,
98.
look, that's what's up, man. Look, we gotta highlight them because you know what I mean. With what you're doing now and everything, you know what I mean. Even us, us as men, we work hard, but
I probably
our
wouldn't be
wives,
alive
our wives
without
and women, man, the things they do behind,
Well, they bring us back to center.
Come on now.
Of what's important, where value is.
We gotta highlight them.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
but it's crazy too, because if you like just doing research on you, like you're always mentioning Cassie. So
No,
it's
real
like,
talk, yeah.
That's real love. Like like a lot of artists, they don't want to mention anything about
family,
their.
yeah.
Well,
that
man,
part,
it's
but-
tough, dude. It's like I went through that as well. Like I've been through several phases of my life. Pursuing a career in music is hard.
Hard.
And what's hard about it is, especially if you have a family, because it becomes these separate lives. You got your kind of stage playing out, traveling, and that's a very hard position to put a family in at the pace that most people do it. And so you make the decision of like, it's just not worth it. I can't afford to have my family. I'm going to go out there and chase the dream. And you're not very. At that point, you're kind of caught up in the ego and the dream, and you're not aware of the sacrifices that you're making with your family and the time. That time's all we got. And how you spend it, it's important.
Amen.
And so for years, I was in that, and I don't judge anybody that does anything. I'm not saying everybody needs to go travel with their family, but because there's sacrifices the other way too.
Yeah.
Meaning, for years I traveled without my family. I hustled, and it was my relationships were suffering. I was living double lives, meaning when I was on the road, it was all music. It was all me. And when I was at home, it was all family, no music. So there was a big wedge where it was like compartmentalized in separate things. And, you know, when you're not with somebody for months and months, over years and years, there's no way for that not to affect y'all,
Right.
you know, affect the intimacy and
Right.
affect, you know, how close you are and stuff. And so like in 2014, and many people have heard this story, I made a record, I wrote a record on it and everything. I lost my voice due to an injury where I had some nerve damage in my neck, and I couldn't sing for a year. And it was kind of that, for me, it was a blessing that at the moment it happened, it was one of the worst things I'd ever experienced, because everything I had wrapped my identity in, me being a singer, that's how I provide for my family,
Right.
was gone.
You lost it.
And it might not come back. And so through that, you know, year-long period of me taking voice therapy and physical therapy and trying to you know, assess the situation and see if I was going to be able to have this back, I just kind of realized and came to this conclusion that, man, I love playing music and it's fun and everything, but that's not my value.
Ooh.
Because that can be gone like that. And I just kind of found that the only thing that really the place that I have value is my relationships, and those were struggling. And I saw that all in that moment of that being taken away from me. And then the current situation with me and my wife and my kids, how I'd missed important dates.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it's the ball game or just not having that time.
Birthday.
So that in 2014 is kind of when I sort of, you know, had this new kind of phase of my career where, as I was learning how to sing again and getting a wrangle on that, I wrote a bunch of songs without really being able to sing. They were a lot like prayers. There's an album called More Music, More Family. And so that album kind of tells the story on an emotional level of what I was going through all that of not being able to sing, and then trying to rebuild my pursuit. And because, of course, I don't want to give up on the dream, because that inspires me. And I want to be someone who inspires my children. And in order to inspire my children, I have to be inspired. I have to, you know what I'm saying? So, but it has to be balanced.
Right.
So it's like, so that was the new challenge. And I'm still on that challenge. I hadn't solved the problem. It's still a challenge of balance of like this. I'm out here in Salt Lake City for one day. My family's not here. That's cool. If it was more than 1 or 2 days, it might not be cool. You know, and if that happens 30 times a year, you know, so I'm always having to sort of keep myself in check, and then throw the kids into the equation, and they don't want to be out for 2 months. They want to have a normal life at home, hang out with their friends, do their normal things.
Amen.
You know, so that's what the last 10 years of my career has kind of been.
That's cool.
Of like trying to have somewhat of a life worth living at home, to be able to write songs about and develop my relationships, and then still be able to have a career. And it's a really hard challenge because, as you know, it's all about momentum. It's all about, you know, that's why, you know, you see these artists, they're going out there and grinding, because that's truly what it takes in a certain, especially if you're trying, like, I moved my perspective to a lifelong kind of thing, where it's like, I'm not looking at, you know, being the hottest shit in the next 4 years. I'm really not. I'm looking at having a sustainable, balanced career for the rest of my life. And so when I changed that,
That's dope.
when I changed that, it kind of helped me deal with, you know, looking at all those people that, you know, blowing up, you know, and trying not to compare yourself to like.
Just out
It's
here.
hard to do that.
Yes.
It's hard to do that though sometimes.
Yeah.
It's natural, you know, like, oh, I want that.
And our ego always says, well, I'm better than them. Well, it ain't got nothing to do with who's better than who.
True.
Facts. There you go.
You know, it's fate.
Ooh.
It's written.
It's written. It's already in there.
That's what Cousin Noah says. Cousin Noah says that.
Yeah.
He says everything we do here is written already.
Man, the older I get, the more I believe in fate.
Amen.
All right, look, hold up.
Yeah, come on, cuz.
We're getting too.
Come on, cuz. Let's go. Let's shake it off a little bit. Let's shake it off a little
Look,
bit.
we gotta run it back to HET because look,
Right.
that's when you kind of like put the world on. Look,
Yeah.
everybody, if y'all haven't seen that first episode,
Oh, no, you've seen it.
where he came out and
You
performed
seen it.
walking on the moon.
Yeah, you seen it.
Man, look,
Yeah, you heard his song too.
Look, I rewatched it, and I'm trying to pay attention to everybody. What's going on? Look, as soon as he gets up there, David Hasselhoff looked like he about to fall asleep. Hey, what's your name? All right,
Yeah, right.
let's get rocking.
Right.
He sings like 3 seconds in, the whole crowd, and his face, whoa,
Right.
he's like touching his
Right,
face.
right. All three of them.
All three of them. But look, Kaz, you got like cousin said, you got something in you, my guy.
Right.
Like
It's
we know
different.
you haven't walked on the moon, but hearing that song, someone might believe, hey, this guy might have walked on the moon.
Right.
Like emotion,
You know,
the power, everything.
Right.
it was pretty crazy being on there.
Can you take us through the journey of all that?
Totally. It's pretty funny. I hated those shows. So
Hey, me too. Hey,
I
see what you're saying. Like, we didn't watch
my
it.
wife watched them, and every time she watched them, we lived at an apartment complex over in Arlington, right outside of Dallas. And every time she would watch those shows, I would just like, why do you watch this garbage? I was like, this sucks, you know? And, you know, you got to also keep in mind the kind of kid I was. I was a punk. I was an anti-establishment, anti-commercialism, kind of DIY kind of guy. So I was like, the way that I looked at it is that's like ABC or NBC and record companies taking advantage of people and really taking advantage of the people that suck and making them feel like they don't suck and then keeping them through rounds and then juicing everything they're worth because America's saying, oh my God, they're so horrible. I can't put them through. And then they're doing all these emotional interviews with these people. And I was just this is garbage. So a year later,
He ended up under.
a year later, I'm in my so I have this this band from like 99, 2000, all the way through like 2007 through the show that I had a band called Woodbelly. And we had a friend of ours that was like our acting manager. His name was Seth. And Seth's brother-in-law worked at the Dallas Morning News. So Seth was like, Seth's brother-in-law basically knew, hey, Seth's trying to help this young artist out, and I can get your artist, Cass, a backdoor audition at the Hilton on this weekend. And so Seth came to me and asked me about it, and I'm kind of how I imagine this went. If who knows if this memory is correct, but how I because the time was wild. But as I imagine this and remember, I was like, absolutely not. I'm not into it. Seth was a pretty large guy and very forceful and one of those dudes
doing
you
this
kind of
shit.
listen to, you know, and he's like, and he just kept kind of pushing, kept pushing. He kept pushing. And then I literally, the night before, I had a gig like at this spot over in Dallas, and I kind of I just had a baby, and so the pressure's on.
Ooh,
you know,
baby.
you always hear the stories. Once you got a kid, your career's over. That was kind of ringing in my head, you know, and I was like, you know, maybe I should, if not for me, for my family, maybe I should do this.
Just try it out.
And so I woke up on that Wednesday morning, and in the clothes that I had on from the night before,
Went straight
I put
in there.
no effort into this audition. And it was like, as I walked in the Hilton, so it's like a conference room. And like, you know, there's there's hundreds of people in line for these auditions. And I'm not just like individual kind of like young people that want to be a singer one day that you see a lot of times, but like circus acts, like
Everything.
people that are already pros that have really put a lot of effort into what they're about to do. And I'm like feeling so out of place. I've got like some ripped up, cut off jeans on and a dirty shirt and don't know what I'm going to play. And
Didn't know yet.
no, I mean, I really just didn't. I didn't have much time.
Oh, cuz.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go, and I didn't have that much time to think about it. And I kind of was
is
like,
wild.
kind of, just kind of being a lop about the whole thing.
Right.
I'm gonna go for my family, but I ain't really gonna try because if you don't try, if I was, and I think it was also the fear of not getting through, of not wanting to fail. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna put my best out there.
Right.
How many? Even though I'm doing it.
Man, we said
You
that
know,
a lot of
right.
times. Yeah.
It's different when
I
you
didn't
get up
really
there.
try.
Right.
So-
yeah.
And so I go in there, and it's a big conference room with maybe 3 16-foot tables and a bunch of people lined up. Who at the time I didn't know who these people were. They were none of the people that you see on TV.
Oh, okay.
These were like the preliminary kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Later, I find out that these are all the top producers of the show.
Executives.
These are like the people that write the show. And do you hear that?
That's
the people
smart.
that write the
Right.
show.
Right.
So
Uh-oh.
write's a big thing. That's a TV show.
Yeah.
Don't forget it.
Yeah.
Don't forget it. It's a
Yeah.
TV. There's so I go in, ask me my name. I play a couple original tunes, and I couldn't tell if they liked it or not. They didn't seem very interested in it. And they're like, one guy's like, well, can you play any like modern cover music? And I said, nope. And I didn't know anything. Like I said, I didn't learn a lot of people's stuff.
Straight up.
And they were saying, well, play something. Do you know any covers? And I was like thinking, I really didn't know many. And they was like, well, just play something you think a British guy would like. And so I thought to myself, well, I only know one song that's written by a British guy, so maybe a British guy would like this. And it was Walking on the Moon.
Ooh.
And so I play Walking on the Moon, and there was not much of a reaction by them. And I have this little number, and I throw the number away, and I throw the number away, and I walk out, and they're like, "Well, if we'll be in touch if you get picked." And this other British assistant, he's like, I can't do the accent, but he's like, you're gonna regret throwing that away if you make it through. And I was like, this motherfucker he don't know me. I ain't gonna regret this piece of paper. So 2 weeks later, I get the notification that I
You're
made
on.
it to, I'm going to Hollywood to really try out
Audition.
the audition that
Yeah.
you're gonna see on TV. And with that notification came a contract that was like this thick.
Contract.
That dude, just to do the show, it was like this book of a contract. And of course, when they give you this, they say, yeah, have this viewed by your legal counsel. I was like, dude,
I ain't got no legal.
yeah, I'm like,
My wife?
just had a baby, no legal counsel.
Yeah.
So I kind of skimmed through it, and I was like, man, it doesn't matter anyways. So I signed it, and I went on, and the rest is history. They requested that I play Walking on the Moon first, because that's once I played the song that the British guy would like.
Ooh.
And then from there, it was just a pretty wild experience. I stayed in Hollywood the whole summer of 2007, living in the Sheraton. And they don't pay, at that point, they weren't paying contestants. So now on a lot of these shows, they pay people.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, dude, it's like you're pausing your
making
life
money.
for months.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
making tons of money.
Oh, okay.
At this point, they were just covering the expenses and a little per diem. It's like, maybe $40 a day, and they'd cover the hotel. And so I was out there by myself the whole time, kind of still unsure if what I was doing was right. And
Even though you got picked, you're still unsure?
I got picked. And then so when I go out to what you guys see as my first audition and playing Walking on the Moon, which you were talking about with old Hasselhoff and all of those folks, you got to think, you got to remember in 2007, YouTube was new.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, it wasn't really, Spotify didn't exist.
Not yet.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
this is like, this is a different world. And so, but it was the beginning of it. It was the beginning of viral videos and stuff like that. And I remember playing that song and then seeing the next day, seeing a whiteboard as I'm in the behind the backstage area of the tryout shows, and they have they're tracking the YouTube views on the board. So the metrics, they were like trying to gauge
Trying to do
to how
like
to
real
produce,
time.
to how to produce. Well, like the next day, they were how to produce the show out.
That's
so they're
wild.
gauging the analytics, which makes sense,
Right.
They
Right.
want to see how America's responding, so they can figure out how they're going to shape the show and what kind of interview they're going to do, what kind of backstory,
Who they should
what they're going to
follow.
talk about, like what's gonna get this person emotional, and so like it's kind of like I was kind of reading into all these things. I was like, oh, like this is like this is written. This is a planned show, and but I saw that the YouTube had like in one day had 4 million views, and early on that's like mega that's
crazy.
mega viral. YouTube,
No, right.
Early on 2007. I mean now it's nothing.
Yeah.
People have
Right.
hundreds of millions.
yeah,
of
right,
views,
But back then, that's still a lot, bro.
So
shoot.
from there, it was just a wild ride of like, I always call it the flash fame, where it's like, when you do one of those shows, it's like, it's kind of like an acid trip, where it's like you go from normal human, and you're still a normal human to yourself, but then in everybody else, like in your hometown,
There you
people
go.
that didn't like you now. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden
That's
you're
my cousin.
on TV. Yeah.
I know,
You're
Cas.
accepted, it's
Come
like,
on.
and so the beautiful thing, I overlooked all of that and understood people like to get excited. And if me being on a show makes someone more apt to support me, great. That's wonderful. I accepted that pretty quickly, but it was for me on a deep level, it was like, it was also a confirmation that I should be playing music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where it was like, if
Okay.
there was any question in my mind after the
Right.
27 years
That's
of
no
me
more
trying,
question.
I was like, I got this. I can do this. So it was a cool, crazy experience, and it blessed my life 100% and taught me the difference between fame and success. And there's a difference.
Can you break that down?
Yeah, let's go into that. Let's go into that.
Fame and success.
Fame is what other people think. Success is what you think.
Ooh.
You know what I'm
As
saying?
simple as that.
Success is a personal thing.
Right.
And it's how you feel. It's like fame is just this idea of who you are. And it's a real weird thing. First, even having a music career is a strange thing because you have this kind of identity. It's a fixed identity. People, you have a sound, you have a look, and sometimes you even have, and this is probably the healthy reason to have a stage name. You know what I mean? Because it's like a character.
Right.
And you can put that to bed when you're off stage. You can go back to old Bobby or Jimmy or whatever, whoever you really are.
Right.
And it might help with what I'm about to talk about, where it's like and I was trying really hard not to fall into the psychological kind of wormhole of like being grounded in who I am and me knowing who I am, while at the same time having millions of opinions of who you are. Ooh. And then what happens is you start to believe people when you have tons of people telling you how great or how shitty you are or whatever. It's really hard not to tap into that and start believing. And it's just as bad on the positive side as the negative side. So if you have millions of people telling you how great you are, that's not necessarily a healthy thing. And it's really hard.
That's crazy.
It's like walking in the shadows of other people's opinions.
Ooh.
And you start to kind of live into that, even if you try to not. So it's like one of the things that I try to do on a normal basis is make sure that I'm being true to myself and that I'm not afraid to evolve as an artist, and that I don't live into just some fixed identity of who you think I am or what my music sounds like, that I'm being true to myself along the way and growing with that. And that's a hard thing to sell. People like McDonald's being McDonald's.
Right.
You know?
Amen, brother.
They don't want to go to McDonald's and get a Taco Bell.
Right.
So it's been another, but it's what I needed to be, okay and feel good about pursuing my career, even if that is the sacrifice of not being as successful as you could.
Cousin.
But look,
You
that's,
know.
I feel like that's part of your success, brother. Like,
Right.
like knowing that you don't care about what everybody else might care about, and you're just pushing your dream, and your family's good, and you're good.
Yeah, and dude, and I'm not lying. I want to make money. I want to be as big as I possibly can.
Right.
If it's natural,
Ooh, if it's natural.
if you know what I mean, if it's fate. And fate is has to be with my intuition and my gut and what inspires me, and like trying to live from a place that, you know, fear's a weird thing.
Right.
Fear is one of those things that you can like think that you're making all these decisions based on your dreams, but really fear can sneak in there and you can decide to do things because you're afraid something else won't happen, even though you're on a like, let's say I get an opportunity to tour with this person. I really don't like this musical act. I don't like this person, but in my mind, I'm like, well, what if something else don't come? You know, like what voice am I going to listen to? So even though I'm pursuing my dream, fear kind of still gets in there. And like, and as I get older, you know, I'm an old man now, I'm 44.
Nah,
So-
you young.
But it's that's another thing that I'm always like trying to reflect on of like, do I want to do this? Why? Do I want to do this? Is this really inspiring me, or is this strategic? And is fear kind of pushing me because I'm afraid something else won't come? Or why am I doing this? You know, and it's something you really got, for me, takes a lot of effort to find why, and if it's fear-based or if it's really truly inspired.
I don't really know who we listening to.
Yeah, you want it though, bro.
Yeah,
you already on
yeah,
it.
she
Sneaks
on the
in,
stuff.
man.
And it can change all your decision making. Fear,
Yeah.
fear's a
Dude, the
crazy
power
thing.
of no means yes to all the things that you want to do.
Ooh, the power of no.
You
Yes,
know, it's
sir.
like it's so hard. It's been so hard for me to say no on a lot of things, and I think it is for a lot of us, especially in like reggae culture and you know, good vibes and everything. No's not bad vibes. No's, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be bad vibes.
Right.
It's just like
At the end.
you're on your I'm on my own schedule. I'm self-directed, know where I'm going, and unfortunately I can't do it. You know what I mean? Or it is speaking to me, and yeah, I want to be here today. You know what I mean?
Hey, look,
Yeah.
look.
Come on,
I really didn't mean to turn this into church.
No, hey, amen, brother.
We like
Get
it.
it.
Yeah. We in Utah now, so you know.
Right.
No, but look, I gotta go back to AGT real quick though. Look, just originally seeing you on that show, I thought the same thing. David Hasselhoff. Oh, here come another white guy.
Yeah.
And then some
Hey,
people,
but Cash was big at that time.
Look, people was telling me he's a reggae singer. I said, oh, this is another white reggae singer.
Yeah, totally.
As soon as he starts singing,
You heard the soul, huh?
but look,
That voice.
I gotta get into this part though. I've heard some other stuff where you say your mother was influenced by Bob Marley, and that kind of rubbed off on you.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Can you
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my parents were really, although my dad was very country, he was very open with all kinds of music, was really into old blues and Southern rock, a lot of James Brown, a lot of Motown and like soul music, Freddie King, Stevie Wonder. And my mom was really open culturally too. So she was really into a lot of South African music and like Bob Marley, and was just very open to all that music and just thought it was beautiful. So, you know, I would hear all kinds of music around the house. And it was kind of like mom and dad's oldies music, you know, and that's when I first kind of, I'd always been drawn to, you know, the beach and the islands and African music and African culture in general.
Yeah.
I'd always loved, you know, whether I was watching Serafina, you know, what
That's the
movies, you know what I mean? And the music and the harmonies, and like I'd always been drawn to that. And I really loved Paul Simon, who had a South African band, and like Graceland, and so as a kid, it really just naturally inspired me. But it was all, I kind of like, when I started playing music, I wasn't playing reggae or anything, because that's kind of was like, I felt like oldies music to me.
Yeah.
So I was into like punk rock. And then through punk rock,
Right.
reggae, I started seeing
Right.
all these like old punk bands, and there being this kind of rude boy renegade kind of connection
there you go.
with reggae and ska. And that led me down
That path.
ska,
Ska.
and then ska led to reggae, you know, and then it full circle back. I mean, music, it's all the same.
Right.
It's like, if it's good or it's gonna be good. Like it's not bad. It's not bad. It's like, it's like, it's either good and what makes music good for me is when it's the emotion that the person's having while they're playing it, not really how it sounds.
The energy.
Yeah, because someone can like not hit any notes, but if they can be feeling it so deeply that you can feel it, it transcends. You know what I'm saying? So you can be a great singer and sing every note beautifully, but it not transcend the same way as someone like that might not be hitting all the notes just right, but is fully present and fully embodying, and it's a a physical creation of an emotion, and that's what what I'm saying. It's
Hold up. What did you just say that again?
It's like a physical manifestation or creation of an emotion where it's like those emotions are so deep in us that it's hard for us
To get it out.
to even understand what they are. And so that's what music has really done for me, is help me have an emotional compass and help me figure out my emotions through the way that I feel by certain songs, or the way that I feel when I'm playing this song or this riff. And I'm like, what about that? Like I might not even know I'm sad until I play that certain chords where I'm like, this is making me feel a certain way. I am sad. I've got some sad.
Hey, look, I'm gonna go right off of that because look, right after you play "Walking on the Moon," Piers Morgan, he was the one who said,
He did it for me right there.
he said, I've heard Sting sing that live.
Yeah.
And you sang that better than him. And I said, hey, that's facts.
Bro.
All the energy, bro, the feelings. That's crazy.
And I really got to give it up to Pierce, because I think him saying that, even though I totally, like me being a Sting Police fan, I totally disagree with him that I sang that better than him. But maybe what he was talking about was the emotion. What was the need? Because at that point in my life, I needed it.
Yeah.
I was at a low point,
Hey.
you know what I mean? And maybe that's what people felt. Because when I listen back, that performance doesn't really, like when I listen to it, I'm like, could have done better. But emotionally, I think back to the place I was in, and I was pretty scared, and I was pretty low, and I really needed something to happen.
Man,
Motherfucker, Cash.
you made that shit happen. I'll tell you that.
You made all of
Boy,
us
did
fans
you,
of
man.
your ass,
Right
Cash.
after that, yeah, that was
So I'm here to tell you too, man. You sung the shit out of that song.
man.
Thank you, man.
You made a lot of fans. Look, I don't even remember who won that season. All I remember was Cas Haley.
I tell you who
Hey,
won,
but
and he won big, y'all.
But look, hold on. Let me get into this.
go
Let me
ahead.
get before that, because since we're still on the subject. Look, one of my favorite performances of you was you had one of my favorite group up there with you.
Ooh, I know.
Right when you came out,
Come on.
and it was one of my favorite songs by him. Red Wine.
Man,
Right?
that was wild.
And when they opened it up and I seen the group with you, Cash, you took me right there. Cash said, this motherfucker. And that's when I said, he's not a white dude no more, cousin.
Hey, reggae
I said,
music
he's
changed.
different.
I said, look at all them.
He's different. He's with the culture now. And that was, hey, you had, man, and that was, so let me ask you that. How was that for you to be on
Yeah.
stage next to the UB40
It was cool, man.
singing their song?
It was cool. Of course, I grew up listening
Right.
to UB40.
Yeah.
Can't not. Mega
not.
hits,
Man,
and it's
come
like,
on.
Everywhere.
they were as nice as you could be.
Really?
The first thing they said to me, they walk in the backstage, and here we are. I guess I don't know if California was legal yet or not. 2007. First thing they said, in their
smoke.
British accent. I'm gonna save you guys. Me trying to have a British accent. Usually I try, and it's horrible. But they say, would you like some pot? Would you like some weed? Like they're like, glad
you
to be here.
serious?
Straight
the
up?
first thing they ask me is if I want some weed.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah. Hey, shout out UB40, man.
I did take it. I took it. Just because it
That's
was from
cool. I didn't know
UB40.
that. Hey, yeah. I
can't
didn't
say
know
no,
that.
Yeah, and so it was cool, man.
That's
and
funny,
then,
though.
And the so the brother, not Allie, is the one that was
Right.
really, really nice. And Allie was nice too, but Allie's first interaction with me was very different. he's a little serious. He's a little serious.
Oh, really?
You know? And
I mean,
this is a big deal for them too
Yeah,
because they hadn't been on national TV
yeah, for a minute.
for a while.
Right.
So
Saw
like
that.
they were really happy to be there. But Ali's like, so do you find the key high for you?
He should ask you if you can
And
sing
I
the
was like,
song.
no, it's kind of low. And I was just
God damn it, Cash.
I was
Got
just
him.
being honest, you know what I mean? It was like it was low. It was like it was, but it was just funny if he asked me if
That's
I
cool.
wonder if he was finding it high for him, being older at the time, and then wanting to maybe move it down for the live performance.
A little bit.
You know, that might have been what it was.
That's all.
But it was cool. And since then, you know, I've played with Ali and at, you know, we did some shows and stuff like that. And he's always been really sweet and nice to me and stuff. You know,
Yeah,
he's
that
a
was-
legend. I'm a huge
Hey,
I'm a huge fan. I know
that's a-
all the songs.
Yeah,
Man, yeah, that's us too. Like we go look in the islands when you grow up, when you're Polynesian, yeah, you be 40, Bob Marley and them. They're not just musicians to us. They're like, you know what I mean? They're
the
not
culture.
regular, right?
Yeah.
So to us, it's cool when we see people like get into that, and to us, we're like, and you were like, okay, look, he's different. And seeing you perform with them live was crazy to me, Cash. And that's that moment is when what was that, 12 years? How long ago was that?
something like that.
No, it was longer than
Longer than
that.
that?
It was 15,
07? You
15,
said 07?
yeah,
Yeah,
07.
okay, yeah.
So working on 20.
So look, so you've been, but look, you've
2
been-
more years,
You've
it'll
been
be
going
20
at this
years.
music thing for a minute now,
Oh,
huh,
dude.
Cash?
Yeah, man.
And
Telling you, I'm an old
every,
man,
you deserve
44.
every blessing that comes your way, Cash.
Thank you, man.
big
Thank
facts.
You know what I mean?
I feel really, you know, I was talking about this the other day with my friend, another musician, and I feel really blessed that I've been able to have this, you know, nice lower middle class career where I'm not, you know, I'm not funded by anybody. I've kind of kept it in house. And because that's where the control is, you know what I mean? And like, I also, you know, when you take a bunch of money from people and stuff, they need you to work. You know what I'm saying? So like you get it. I just feel really blessed that I've been able to sustain the way that I have, and have good relationships with my family, and still, you know, I'm still inspired to play music, and I've got a lot more in me, and I don't feel burned out, and you know, I feel like I'm, you know, I'm doing a good job at balancing what sacrifices I'm willing to make to keep doing this. And like I said, that doesn't mean I don't want more success, because
Right.
of course
Right.
I do,
Right.
but for the long haul, you know.
Sustain that the long.
Yeah, yeah.
Nah,
for the
that's
long haul.
dope. Well, hello there. Sorry we had to interrupt the episode, but shout out our sponsor, Calm with Kava. What I got here is extract kava. You add an ounce of this into 5 ounces of water. You wait about 15 minutes for the extract to take over the water. You stir it up, and then you're ready to mix. So you know what I mean? What we try to do is make everything easy for y'all, because that's what we do. Shout out our sponsor. Go ahead and go on the website if you want to order some. Use the promo code CULTURE to get 10% off your first order. And plus, it shows us love, so appreciate y'all.
We always call it the gummies, citrus mint. It's all natural, gluten free. Again, I popped one in. They're very delicious.
You already know what it is. Look, ain't no way like the traditional way. Look, they got the traditional kava right here. But if you ain't want to do that, you trying to cut off a little bit of time, they got the micronized kava too. So what that means is you ain't got to use no strainer. You just throw this in with the water, mix it up, ready to go.
But now, back to your episode.
Real quick though, you mentioned sacrifice. Brother, you're looking good, man. From the first time we seen you on TV,
Trying to stay alive,
Living life.
the long haul.
the long haul.
It goes into everything,
Can
you
you
know.
break down like what you've been doing? The
you're-
people
yeah,
want to
yeah.
hear,
One
man.
last thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So my mom's favorite moment from America's Got Talent
Okay.
was Lionel Richie. So I did Lionel Richie song, and Lionel Richie comes on, and he's like, Cass. So you make easy look easy. And then like, so my mom's a huge Commodores fan. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that was one of the high points for me too, because I'm a big Lionel Richie fan, and I
That's
love
cool.
UB40. Lionel Richie,
Right.
for me though, it was like, man, I mean, he knows Stevie Wonder. Ooh, you know, he's
He's up there.
UB40
Right.
might not even exist.
No, you're
for
right.
Lionel Richie.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
It's just like everything being connected. But so that I had to mention that. But man, as far as health and stuff, you know, when I was on, so as a kid growing up, I was always just a little chubby. I wasn't a big kid. I wasn't super I wasn't unhealthy really.
Okay.
18 years old, I was probably 180 pounds. And then I moved to Dallas with my band, started eating pizza, drugging, drinking.
Yep.
Put it
Life.
on. Yeah, 10 years goes by, and next thing you know, I'm 300 pounds. And then the next thing you know, I'm 350. And so like 2018, I think. Yeah, like 7 years ago or something. My wife was diagnosed with late stage 3 breast cancer. And so the day she was diagnosed, she's like, I forget how old she was. So if it was 2018, she's like in her mid 30s. She's like 33, 34, something like that. Real young. But it ends up being this family genetic, this BRCA1 gene, where she had chances were like 80% to get it. But through that whole cancer journey, and like the thing that popped in my mind the minute she got diagnosed is like, well, all we can do is be the healthiest that we can. So anything that we're like questioning in our life right now, let's start researching. Let's ask the doctors. Let's figure out a way to get healthy. And so my health journey started by supporting her. And she was never really, really overweight like I was, like to the point, but still we had some things to do.
Right, work on.
To work on just because, there's so much out of our control. What is in our control? So that's what we shifted our focus on, of like, trust the pros, find someone that we can trust, but then at the same time, let's do everything that we possibly can. So the first 2 things were like, okay, we know that smoking cigarettes, any kind of smoke, probably not good for the body. So that's the first thing we stopped. We stopped inhaling smoke.
Cut that out.
And then we know that being overweight is another thing that increases your risk for cancer and your all-cause mortality through cancer and stuff like that. So we started fasting, and we changed our diet, and like we kind of went on a no package diet. Like if it's in a package, we ain't eating it. If it's got nutrition facts on the back of it, we probably don't want it. It's like if it's not on the perimeter of the grocery store, if it's not vegetables or meat, we stopped eating it. And the fasting paired with that thing over, several years, I lost almost 150 pounds up to this point. And
Congratulations, brother.
and it wasn't through like hitting the gym, but as I started losing weight, I started feeling better. So I could, I could do push-ups,
Do more. Yeah.
I could stretch better. And so, the more weight that I lost, the healthier and the better I felt. So I was more active.
Do more.
And now I'm to a point where I'm still on that same journey, what I'm saying? I'm on this journey for the rest of my life, where fasting is a big part of my routine. And, sometimes I'll go on 2-3 week stretches of doing a 1 meal a day. Sometimes I'll switch that up. Of course, on Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'll eat whatever.
Yeah.
I
Come
want.
on, man.
You gotta
try to create balance. But that whole magic, the biggest factor with fasting is how it changed my relationship with food, and sort of taught me to not eat emotionally.
Hey, that's a big one. That's a big one.
I think we do a lot of that.
Yeah,
Everybody does a lot of that.
yeah, because it's such a necessity to eat, and it's so good, and it is an emotional thing. It's life.
No, it really
How
is.
can it
yeah.
not be? It's
Right.
but
everywhere.
it becomes out of balance too, to where you start you become dependent on those dopamine hits from that sweet cookie or from all all the different
Facts.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
my journey's been eat real food, vegetables and meat. And I even went long stints with just eating meat and doing the whole carnivore thing, and enjoyed it, and then got bored, and wanted some vegetables back in my life.
Yeah.
And and just kind of stay on that path of like anything in a package, I'm going to be suspect of. And if we can't, if we want ketchup, we try to make ketchup at home.
That's
Instead
right.
because it ain't that hard.
Grab some tomatoes. Yeah.
Stop
Are
it,
you
Cash.
gonna trust these people that are out to make a buck? It's like we're seeing what's happening in the future of
Ain't
like
lying.
with all these ingredients that hopefully will be out of our food in the next 4 years. Maybe we won't be, because we're victims of
Right.
commercialism and of these major food companies. I truly believe that, and I also believe in freedom. So I also believe in if you want to eat that shit, you
Eat
should
that
be able
shit.
to.
Yeah. Be able to say
I'm kind of
no.
in a weird place, you know.
Nah, that's cool.
But yeah, so I'm still on that journey, trying to feel good, really into fasting and eating real food, really into cold plunges and saunas and
Damn, all that.
Well, look,
gotta
let me
set
be
up
the
at the
first to
house.
say, Cash, you look amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Real talk, man. Like from AGT to what you doing now.
Thank
We just had to ask you, man. Appreciate you for letting us in on the journey. You know what I mean, from losing weight. But you look amazing, man.
Thank you, man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it look good. But yeah, let's get back into this, man. I mean, I don't want you to feel weird because I just said that, Cash.
No, I mean,
Hey, no, 'cause
I'm
we're
real
touching on that
comfortable
same,
in my
that same journey
manhood.
right now.
We're on that same journey.
So we're trying to make it. You know what I mean? So
Well, dude, I mean, and another lesson with this whole health thing, and I always tell people, when people say, well, why'd you lose? And I mean, some people ask me, why'd you lose all that weight?
yeah.
Usually they're overweight. But it's one of those things of like how easy it is to convince ourselves of like self-love and all this shit. Of I'm not unhealthy, or because I can still do this or that. But I watched my dad die, and watching my dad die from basically different metabolic diseases, diabetes and heart disease, stuff that was totally preventable if he would have just had a good diet. It's brutal. You don't want that. You don't want your legs chopped off. You don't want your legs swelling up, and oozing. I mean, and so I always say, I want to die being able to wipe my own ass.
Hey.
Because I've had
real.
I got a lot of people in my life that I've spent time with, that I was there with on hospice, that could not.
Right.
And that I've had to help with.
Right.
And I was honored to help with, but I seen the look in their eyes, and it was hard for them.
They just wanted to go.
And then,
Don't
they were over it.
Yeah.
And man, it can hang on for a long time after you can't wipe your own butt.
Right.
Man.
Nah, man, no, that's facts, man.
Nah, you.
No, that's facts, bro. We can
that's
go
for real,
into
though.
any of that because growing up, it was like that in my household. Like taking care of my grandma and grandpa, they lived with us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they got old to the point where they didn't even remember us, but they were still alive to the point where we still had to change them. And changing grown man people's shit's different than babies.
Yeah, it
You know what I mean?
is.
But it's love though. Like I love my grandma.
Yeah, totally. And
You know
you're
what I mean?
honored
I'm
to do it.
not
That's what
saying.
you
Yeah,
gotta do.
exactly.
That's
It
why
was
you
an
do it.
honor. It was an honor. But at the same time, it was like that. I would ask my mom, like, why don't she just go? And my mom's like, she wants to, but you know what I mean? It's not. It's
It
not
ain't.
up-
I know it ain't
You know
the
what I
decision.
mean?
I just lost my brother-in-law 2 weeks ago, and he was like a second dad to me. And he was over it for the last month, meaning he had made the decision.
That's the same. That's what I'm
and
saying.
and I said, Gene, I told my sister, I was like, you just don't know how long this is gonna go. He could be alive for another year.
That's what I mean.
And it's a nightmare scenario. I mean, he couldn't move.
Yeah.
He was seized up
It's
in
just
his bed and
sad,
stuff.
man.
And his mind was all there. That's the really tough thing. But
the
he
hard
was
part.
he was over it, man. It was heavy.
Yeah, and that's one thing that me and cousin try to talk about on our pod is our people. You know what I mean? Like we're not nobody to tell people what to do, but we know our people suffer from health problems, and so that's a thing that we try to talk a lot on our podcast is. You know what I mean? Be healthy.
Yeah.
Not only for you, but for if you have kids, you have family. But it's a good thing just to be healthy, man. And live
Well, dude, and
longer
people don't understand that the food we eat affects the way we think.
Amen.
I mean, it's so connected, and you just don't realize that until you really clean it up. And so if you're unhappy, you start there. Like if you're unhappy and you're thinking that it's all these other things that are happening in your life, it's totally a hormonal kind of thing, and kind of starts with the foundation of like your diet, and you get that diet in check, you're gonna move more. And that's I think something a lot of people kind of mistake. They think it's just gym.
Right.
No,
you're right.
And you always hear you can't work out a bad diet, and you can even look good and be looking
You'll
like
be
you're healthy and
unhealthy.
die from
Right.
a heart attack.
They'll be unhealthy.
And
Be bad inside.
and still have metabolic
Yeah.
disorder, and typically the more you work out, the more hungry your body is, the more you eat, and you think you can overcompensate, and you're working out and you're building muscle, but you're also still gaining fat, and you're not making progress. Where it's like I started following this. Dr. Jason Fung, who's like a fasting specialist. He's a nephrologist, and he sort of teaches about how insulin works and how it's a fat storing hormone. And it's hormonal, and it's although and I'm not an expert at all, but from my understanding, we always say calories in, calories out.
Right.
You hear that all the time. It's not as simple as that. You know what I mean? And if you listen to Jason Fung, he could do a better job explaining that it's hormonal, and that it's like that's what the amazing thing about fasting is that they've shown that after you fast for, I'm not sure exactly how long, let's say it's after you do a 48-hour fast, let's say your basal metabolic rate, which is what your body needs to operate, is 2,000 calories for a grown man.
Okay, yeah.
That's just like what your body needs
Yeah, for the day.
for the day. So after you fast, when you come back to eating, your basal metabolic rate actually goes up. So now you might need 2,200.
What?
So it starts to become easier and easier to rise that, and you need more, and you are able to lose weight, even though you do. Yes, the calories in, calories out, you do come in under for the week. You know what I mean? And so it does. I know the calories in, calories out is a real thing as well.
Okay.
But it's more complex
Than just that.
Than just that. It's about the quality of the foods that you're eating and how they're affecting your metabolism and stuff like that.
Hey, damn, Cass, you all into this, huh?
I've been into it for years, and I've been experimenting on my body and seeing, like, dude, when I started this, I had high blood pressure. I was basically a diabetic, high blood sugar readings. And since I started fasting and lost weight and became more active over and long term, this has been almost 7 years now of this journey. I've got, blood pressure that's normal. My all my glucose readings are and insulin is all good. You know what I mean? And now if I was to have, a cupcake at Thanksgiving, like I don't feel horrible from eating it, and my blood sugar doesn't spike, and then I don't crash, and it takes time to kind of get back to square one when we've had, from early on, we've been eating bowls of Fruit Loops and Hot Pockets,
Right.
Doritos and Coca-Cola.
Come on now.
I grew up with a full Domino's
Come on
pizza,
now.
Coca-Cola,
Come on now.
couple bowls of
Come
cereal
on now.
Oreos.
right before bed.
Come on now.
Pizza.
And
3
so-
times a week.
I mean, I think like, most of us by the time we're 10 have the onset of metabolic disorder, which is the ability where we can't process these sugars and turn them into fuel. We just store them as fat.
Yep.
And that's what leads to diabetes. And excuse me if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. I'm not a pro.
You good.
But yeah.
That's
No,
dope,
that's
man.
crazy. Because look, I'm in the middle of a water fast right now. Like I'm on day 5.
Right
But
on.
just doing research into fasting and how your body repairs itself for not eating, like we have the natural medication within us.
Yeah.
But it's hard for somebody to just stop. But like you said, the food is everywhere, and it's such a natural thing to just see something and be like, oh, I just want to eat it.
Well, dude, and you find the zone.
Ooh,
Like after
come
you start
on.
fasting, you
Come
find
on.
this zone where when you don't have to think about what to eat, you get a lot done.
You get a lot more
And
done.
it's easy. It's easier to fast when you're busy. When you're busy too.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
When you're
yeah.
doing stuff.
That's
and
cool.
so
Focus,
I really love it, and I think it's a super powerful tool. And
Be healthy, man. No, you're right, man.
yeah, man.
Ooh, that's-
Okay, yeah. Let's get more. Let's get more down the line, though.
Yeah, come on.
Cause look, I came to a concert out here in Utah.
Yeah, come on. Talk about
Which
that.
one?
J Bug.
Oh man, you
Right.
gotta love Boogie.
And look, and Utah was, man, the line went all the way around. Because,
It was crazy,
because
yeah.
to us, we're thinking, look, J Bug, we got to sell out. You know what I mean? It's sold out here. That's J Bug,
A
right?
lot of Polynesians out here, we trying
Yeah.
to show love.
And you know how they got performers before J Bug comes
yeah,
out,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
cousin? Look, they had a couple people come out, and people are walking around buying drinks, you know what I mean? And then they bring out Cas Haley, right? And to me, I was telling my wife, I go, hey, that's the dude from American Got Talent. Like, I was telling my wife, because one of my favorite songs that you sang back then was Easy.
Yeah.
Did a cover of it.
Yeah,
The easy-
yeah.
And I was like, hey, look, this dude, you know what I mean? So anyway, he comes out, so I'm grabbing my drink, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, look, we gotta watch Cash, right? And there's a bunch of us, me and my boys. Shout out Valu and them. But and you just started going. Cousin, from the beginning to the end of his show, cousin, all of us was, even my homies was like, hey, who the fuck is that? and I was explaining to him, I go, bro, that's Cash Haley.
They're like, you don't know. Hey, right after the concert, the first thing this guy hit us back with, I thought he's going to be like, hey, J Bug. He said, Cas Haley is him. I said, cousin, I know.
Look,
I
Cash,
know that.
look, Cash,
Yeah.
look, this is no disrespect on J Bug. You know what I
Man,
mean?
he's
I love J Bug.
Yeah, we love
The
you,
dude,
J
the
Bug.
dude can throw a show.
Yep.
But I will say this right here on Culturally Rooted podcast. That night, you were the best performer that night. Hands down, my brother. And I'll take that to the grave with me. I'll say that proudly.
Well, dude, it shows you, what kind of a guy J-Boog is, that he welcomed me on stage each night. And he's, man, I mean, you can't have a better guy. And I appreciate your comments too. You know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying, J-Boog, look, J-Boog, like I said, him, Fiji, Bob.
All up there.
Come on, man. They're different to us, the music. Yeah. But Cash, that night, brother, you out of every performer, and they had some cool ones, cuz, and they had bands up there, they had people rocking.
Yeah, wasn't LAB there?
Right.
From New Zealand.
That's what I'm saying.
Heavy hitters right there.
I was upset. I couldn't make
They had us.
Yeah.
They're heavy hitters.
Mad.
But Cash, all of us, when we left that night on the ride home, man, in our van, all of us, grown people, was talking about Cas Haley.
Did you see me out there slinging merch?
Was he singing merch out there?
Sold my own merch that night, boy.
Hey,
Anyway, it was just him.
we're going to come cop some tonight. Look.
Because I was rolling with Lab that whole tour. So I didn't know those guys from Adam. And I was in there. I was in their rig riding with them. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, they get down.
They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, what a tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's some good music right there.
Yeah, man, look, and that night when we went home, Cash, the girls, every guy that we were with, we went out to eat and they couldn't stop. And I told them, I said, didn't I tell you he was him? And they were like, bro, look, live, look, because we seen you on TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I seen you Make It Got Talent. I've seen your cover videos. But to see you live, bro.
Different, huh?
Cousin, it's like you said, you don't have to be the best performer that night, because obviously there's people, but the energy he made us feel.
Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We left that night saying Cash was the man because he made us feel different. Yeah, we was jamming out to J-Boog, we was skating, but the feeling.
It's different.
And that's why I said, when Bob said, hit me with music, because music, you know what I mean? Because when music hits you, you feel man, Cash, you motherfucker. Look, I got goosebumps now. That's why when he told me you were coming, Cash, you had no idea, bro. I was crying in my house with my wife.
We gotta catch it. We gotta catch it.
I appreciate you,
man.
It's real kind of you, and I love playing, and man, it's one of those things where what I prioritize, and it's taken me a long time to do this, but what I prioritize when I play live is to make sure that I am feeling it. Meaning, like, I'm not thinking about singing it perfect. I'm not thinking about any of that. And one of my greatest mentors, the first time I met him, said, Cass, the secret to all this is make sure that you are feeling the emotion that brought this song to life. It's not just going through the motions. He's like, that's not what translates. What translates is how you feel. It's a feel thing. It's gonna be what kind of emanates around, and it's not just and that's I think that's something that existed a lot in the past too. When you watch old blues performers and when you watch old Motown performers and even old reggae artists, where there was like you can feel a lot of feeling. They are embodying the very emotion, and it's it takes work too to like try to remember to get to that place, because we all want to be perfect. We all want to play to our best ability, and you can't every night, but you can be hypnotized by that emotion and be like in that feeling. You know what I mean? Where it's like you got to make sure you're enjoying it,
right? Like,
and that's a priority for me. Of like, I need to enjoy performing. I need to be in this emotion.
Okay.
But it's man, I go way back with Hot Rain and and the boys and J-Boog. Yep.
Oh, I didn't
Leslie
know that.
and Carl.
Yeah, can we talk about that? That's the first time I've ever seen.
I didn't know y'all mess with each other.
Yeah.
They were my first backing band, first trip to Hawaii. Ooh, what?
Hey, you got footage of this? We need to see that.
There's probably somewhere. Yeah, so it was Blaine playing bass. Clanton wasn't playing bass. Is it Clint? I think that's the guy that's actually J-Boog's bass player is coming out tonight.
Right.
He's gonna sit in.
Oh, at your show
tonight? Yeah. And a guy local named AJ, a drummer from Shack.
AJ. Yeah.
His name is. I hadn't met AJ. His name.
Shack.
His name is like.
I'm just thinking, if it's from the Shack, we probably had seen him or known him.
He's a great drummer. Yeah, he's from Shack. AJ Wonton.
Yeah.
Wonton.
Oh, they call it. Yeah.
Hey, shout him out.
Shout out AJ. Yeah.
Okay,
AJ. Yeah, we
and and I hope
how-
I'm
do you-
pronouncing this right, Clandon. And then I pronounce.
Nah, you good.
I'm the
You
worst.
good.
Okay, Fatua.
Fatua, yep. There you go.
Clandon Fatua and he's the one that plays bass for J Book. So
Right.
they're gonna come out tonight and sit in the last 4 songs. So I'm gonna do the looper set and then some acoustic, and then I'm gonna have those boys come up and we're gonna do our thing.
Now, when
shit.
you get them to come out, do you just hit them up and say, "Hey, I need like a bass"? Or
So
how does this work?
Me and Clandon connected on that tour musically and stuff.
Okay.
He's a fantastic bass player, and that's the first time I had met him. I knew Leslie and Carl and some of the other guys. But because we had connected on that tour, I was like, "Oh, it'd be cool to see you. Why don't you come out and sit in?" And he's like, "Well, do you need a drummer?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not sure. I don't have a drum set. Let me see if the other band that's going to play would let." So it just ended up working out. And so after I finish here, I'm going to go and rehearse a little bit with those 2 boys and those 2 men, and then we're going to jam, and just to be able to, because it's like, doing the looper thing's always kind of it's vulnerable and kind of tough, especially when there's a band playing before you, like a full band.
full-on
and you got to
band.
come up with this looper. You're all by yourself.
Yeah.
And the looper thing's not something that I do all the time. It's not, and I'm still kind of getting
That's cool.
used to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but look. So then the second time you came out here, you brought out your kids.
Yeah.
Like they're in your band.
Yeah. My son plays bass and my daughter plays fiddle. My wife's a songwriter with me
Yeah,
as well.
because the second time you came out here, yeah.
And so that all happened out of that decision I made in 2014 to start traveling with him. My wife never wrote a song before she started traveling with us or anything. And then all of a sudden we're all kind of doing it together. And it kind of gave them a gift to taste that and to experience that and to kind of embrace, that kind of creative energy for themselves and their life. Because it's bigger than just playing music. It's like whatever you're doing in your life. If once you recognize how you feel being creative, you know that you can be that way when you're doing your landscaping,
Right, you can
when
create
you're designing
anything.
your house.
Right.
So it's been, and also to the lesson of being able to do it in front of people. So like that's huge for a kid.
Right.
Facts.
Of like, no, you might not be a savant bass player or the best bass player, but to have the courage
To
to
go up
go
there.
out there in front of people and to have a creative performance in front of people kind of crushes that fear that we all have of being judged, and so like
Wow.
to see them have that and
That's
what they've
dope.
developed, even if they never play music
That's cool.
for anything other than just jamming with me, it's really cool because I really feel like it builds a strong character, and a
Okay,
foundation.
look.
that's
Okay, hold on, cousin.
Yeah,
Since
come on,
we
we
on
gotta
this,
get in- we
since
gotta
we on
into
that
it just a
topic,
little
I gotta ask you a question real quick. Just real quick. What is something fatherhood has taught you?
Oh, man, that's a big question.
It's a big question.
Everything. It's the best. It's the greatest honor. It's the most important thing that I'm doing. It's also a relief to not think about myself.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? It's exhausting thinking about yourself all the time. You know what I mean? It's like to be able to support somebody and to be able to guide them and to realize that it's a lifelong thing too, and it's not a control thing. It's just like to be really needed. Is like it's a beautiful thing, and it's I think it's the biggest honor. And when I did not really believe in a higher power until I had a child.
Amen.
And when I had my son, it was immediate. I said, oh man, I'm a part of something way bigger than I ever imagined, I ever thought. And it's
You never loved something so much as
I
you.
don't even know that I knew what love was. I mean, I thought I did. I had an idea of love from the movies and how I feel about my wife and stuff.
right.
But then it all put it into perspective of like, this is love. This is the goal.
Yeah.
Can you feel this way about everybody? That's a big question. How you love your kids. You know what I mean? And that's hard. That's hard. But that is a something to practice of like, how would I treat my children in this moment?
Ooh.
Maybe that's how you should treat your neighbor. I mean, to a point, right?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're
But
trying
I'm
to
talking
say.
about the spirit of this, of like, of with looking at them with soft eyes and with compassion and realizing that like, you don't know
You don't
the
know.
whole story.
Facts.
So it's like compassion, try to, and that's, a constant battle. Whether it's on the road with someone road rage, you don't know what they're going through. They could have just lost their mom, and they could have an emergency, their kids, all this. But we're all like, that idiot motherfucker. Yeah. Knocking me out, this son of a bitch driving. And yeah, there's a lot of those people out there, but you don't know which are which.
That's true.
And I'm tired of feeling that way, the way that I feel when I get all pissed off.
Me too.
Because I'm a hothead. Like the best of them. You know what I mean? I was a rowdy kid, man. I was the first to fight. My dad he said, son, the secret, don't get hit first.
Yeah, you hit first.
You hit first.
He's like, if you can't get out of that situation, you hit him. You hit him first. And he's like, about 70% of the fights, no matter how tough they are, you'll have the upper hand if you hit them first.
Right.
But Look, I just want to give you your roses real quick, man. That's a big part for us because our people is really like heavily family oriented, and so to see you take your kids on the road, your wife, like not only for them to build themselves, but to see you chasing your dream. You know what I mean? Like that changes kids. Like, man, I have like the most special memories of me with my dad on the road, watching him sing,
working it out, seeing it's not all perfect, and you're working it out and still going at it.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
They see the
that
work
part.
that
I just want to give you roses for that because that takes
it's a blessing.
especially being what he's doing.
Come on,
there's a lot of artists don't do that.
They don't do that. They won't.
Man, and it's hard. It's a fate thing. I mean, like I said, I feel blessed to have been the type of person in the situation. It all kind of lined up for me to do this, and there's not a lot it's like, part of me wants to take credit, but then the reality of it is like, man, I can't really take credit for this situation and how it's went. It's a God thing, you know what I'm saying? It's I felt led a certain way by something. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's one of those things where it's like this kind of path ain't right for everybody, because it is hard and there's a lot of other sacrifices too.
Facts. There you go. Yeah.
Hey, you ain't lying. But look, so we're gonna move on a little more. We're cutting short on our time.
So let me tell you about my first Hawaii trip.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
So that I can
So this makes sense. Yeah.
2009. I'm close friends with a guy named Josh Heinrich. So I don't know if you know Josh.
Hey, shout out Josh Heinrich.
Josh Heinrich. Josh was in a band called Ja Roots, and we kind of grew up together, my band Woodbelly and Josh, because we're only 5 hours away from each other. And in the States, that ain't that far. So we started touring together back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And I was blown away by their band, Ja Roots. And Josh he's like a musicologist, especially with reggae, meaning he's a super fan. And he knows every band from across the world and had all these mixtapes.
Damn.
And so the first time I was ever turned on to Hawaiian reggae and Polynesian reggae was Josh gave me a tape. And so it had Kavini Vaitai on it, and it had
old school,
had like all the J-Book stuff before it was popular.
Right.
It had Micah G on it. It had some the Green, like the beginning before Love I even hit really the radio. It was like early stages
Green,
in different time, 2009 or so. And then so I heard this on one of the albums. And also Laga. Gentle breeze.
Right.
Gentle breeze.
R.I.P.
That's the one.
And then I seen he's a drummer. And you know what I mean? It's like, it's sad that he passed.
Yeah.
But amazing. So I got this album and I heard this Micah G song, Take a Chance. And Josh had been playing it live. And I was talking to Josh, and I was like, Josh, man, I know you're kind of playing this live, but I really want to do this song. Like, I want to put it on a record. And so the way I went about it was I found out who Micah G was because I wanted to talk to Micah G.
Okay.
And I could have just done
do it the right way.
I could have just done it, and I could have done it the right way legally, where he would have got his money from the publishing and everything. But I wanted a personal kind of like,
okay,
at least letting him know that, hey, man, I love your song, I love your voice. And so I reached out to this guy he was working with, and that kind of set the first trip up. for me to go to Hawaii because this guy that was working with Mike, I had this hookup with the Nahoku Music Awards, and they hired me to do a clinic. And this was after the TV show, so it was like basically like a little clinic for young kids that were thinking about doing reality TV. You know, so I got hired to come over to the Nahoku Awards, and as I was coming over for the Nahoku Awards, then I got hit up by a promoter, this guy named Giz, who's a local promoter, and he was a big promoter in Hawaii. And he was like, you know, doing all the J-Book stuff and Fiji, and he's all in that whole world. And he had another gig for me. And he's like, I got your backing band lined up. So me and Josh fly over to Hawaii together.
You and Josh together?
Yeah, we're together.
Oh my goodness.
And Giz picks me up at the airport, and it's a minivan full of a bunch of really large Samoan guys. And I was like, they all look like gangsters too. So I was kind of like, they didn't say much, and I was a little bit scared. And Giz like, you want some weed? And I was like, yeah. And so he gets on the highway, and I was like, I didn't really think Hawaii was that big. We just kept driving, drives to Bush. He drives to the west side.
All the way out
and he
somewhere.
grabs me a giant bag of weed, and then he goes back. We go back to Honolulu, and we're going to the rehearsal space, and that's where Hot Rain was. That's where I met Leslie. That's where I met Carl.
God works.
That's where I met Blaine, and then that's where I met JP and Caleb, because Leslie was the drummer of the Green in the beginning as well. And so on that trip, I met so many people. I met Cavini. I met all these guys that I'd been listening to their music, and it was kind of me. I'd been in love with the music, and then I fell in love with the people of Hawaii. And it was like one of those things, I could tell it was a feel culture.
Right.
Too, of like, you know, everybody's like, be careful, you know, they don't like white people. And I was like, honestly, I've been out late night in Honolulu, and I ain't had not one incident
Right.
whatsoever. And I think it's probably how you hold yourself, and if you look people in the eye, or the present, or if you're treating them like they're to work at Disneyland. You know?
Oh, okay.
Cool. So, and that led to so many different things where, like, I was signed to Easy Star Records at the time, and then the Green ended up getting cooked up with Easy Star, and I had met them, and so that's their first sort of U.S. kind of release that they released a record through them, and but yeah, man, and then I just kept going back. And
What a wild trip, bro. Like, especially you bringing up Josh Heinrich, man. Like, hey, I ain't even gonna lie. When people ask me, hey, who's your favorite white reggae artist? I always say you and Josh Heinrich. I'm like, hey, those two right there.
we're close buddies.
Hey,
That's crazy. That's
That's
really
music.
our home.
Yeah, man.
that part's
Yeah.
hard.
Damn.
Yeah, we're working on some. We've got an album together that's not been released,
Yeah. Oh,
and then it was like out for free. But then we're working on some new music together too. So
I was gonna say, I know y'all got some music.
Got something, bro.
yeah, I've also got a new tune that I'm really excited about with Mike Love and
Mike
Tavana.
Love.
Do you know Tavana? So Tavana's a Hawaiian blues artist that is close friends with Mike, and so we've got this cut of Stevie Ray Vaughan, "Life by the Drop," but it's reggae. I'll send you guys a sneak peek.
Hell no.
It's really
Oh,
it
hell
turned
no.
out good, man. It's gonna be cool.
That's dope, man. Look at you working, bro.
Hey,
Wait.
go ahead.
Go ahead, cousin.
Can we just get into you know, what's the album called? Boots Rock Reggae album.
Oh, yeah.
Look, being from Utah, me and cousin, look, we love country music because we just like we grew up with it.
Right.
Yep.
We all around it.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people don't like country music.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
look, for you, I guess to be a reggae artist and then to cover these songs in the reggae style, man,
different.
that shit-
And in all
that shit's
reality, I'm country. So that's, I mean, that's the reality.
real
It's
talk,
like,
though, yeah.
I mean,
Texas.
it's like, and even though I don't even fit the mold for the country mold because of just the type of person I am, where I you know, of course, when I was a kid, I rode horses, rode mules, whatever, and went hunting. But, you know, by the time I was 10, I had my own gun and I could walk around the woods and shoot shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, but I fell in love with reggae, and I always felt, you know, I loved reggae, but I always kind of like could see people kind of judging me. You know what I mean? Especially locally too, of like,
Oh,
yeah,
for real?
it was like pretty cool, but you know, like it makes me feel like I need a margarita. Like it was very like
Okay.
it was only vacation, only music for vacation. I was like, this is real soul music. Like, this is
come on.
this is like world changing music. It's not just like for vacation.
Right.
You know. So but anyways, over time, I always felt I've never really felt a part of a crowd or like I had a place or a part of a group or any kind of thing. And the inspiration to really merge in the worlds was kind of like as to build a bridge from like all the people I grew up with to realize how awesome reggae music is, and all it took was a song they knew. So it's like, you know, it's like meaning like they just needed something familiar. And it's like all this music is essentially the same. It's essentially the same thing. You know, whether it's a country song or a reggae song, it's a human's experience and a story and an emotion. And that's the core of it all. So I don't put things into boxes. You know, I don't like being put into box. I know in order to sell something, it's got to be put in a box with a label on it. But, you know, it's been really cool doing this, and it's really for the last year and a half I've been like really grinding on that to you know, it started off at just kind of a little niche of like showing all my country fans, all my country friends and family, see what they would think about this whole thing. And then it turned into something a little bit bigger and sort of, you know, grew on Instagram to almost 250,000 followers all over the world and hit, you know, all over. And it's been a really cool way to captivate a global audience, you know, online, which is a very different thing from, you know, your real career. You know, online is like its own
different
world. You know what I mean? And to translate that over into the real world is it's a lifelong kind of thing where it's like it's very easy to follow. It's a whole other thing, getting in your car, buying a ticket, driving to the show. You know what I mean? That's two different things.
Now they just click on the song and it's there.
But what the cool thing that it gave me an opportunity to do, because I produced all this stuff in my studio.
Damn.
All the arrangements and stuff I did. And it was the first time in my career where I really was like in the woodshed. Meaning I was following my gut instinct on like, I'm going to produce this exactly like I want. I know how I want it. And I'm going to follow my instinct, and I'm going to accept my best in every moment. Meaning I'm not going to mull over something over and over because I don't think it's good enough. If I was in the moment and did my best in that moment, that's what it was. That's what it is. That's my instinct. And so it taught me a lot of lessons about my instinct and the trust to follow those musically, and to also to make the moves with producing and arranging in the studio, and have a good year and a half, 2 years, not writing songs, but just arranging some of the best songs on the planet. I mean, when you talk about like songs like Crazy, I mean, you don't write a better song than that. You know, there's these iconic songs like Have You Ever Seen the Rain?
Come on,
you know,
that one.
like
Tennessee Whiskey.
Tennessee Whiskey. These songs are
Fishing
some of the
in
best
the
songs.
dark.
So it really, it also kind of, you know, it's kind of put the pressure on of like, it's time to write some good songs. Like, I don't know if I've written a good song after doing all these great songs. I take a look back, I'm like, I'm not sure I got any great songs. But it's been so fun.
Hey,
So fun.
it's love.
And all been able to do it from the comfort of my home.
Oh, there you go.
That's the beauty.
Yeah,
It's
that
pretty
part.
cool that we live in a world with our little phone. You
Right.
can be creative.
Anything on
to
it.
reach the world, man. You know, and I do believe for all you people that want to reach the world and want to reach and want to have an audience, I believe that there's an audience out there for everybody. I truly, like, you know, it's like I have guys and buddies calling me all the time. We're like, what are you doing? Like, how did you do that on Instagram? I'll tell them everything I did.
Right.
And I believe, and tell them how to do it. It's consistency. It's getting a consistent thing and really trying to up your game and refine your approach as you do it. And if you go out there and do something consistent online, whether it's playing spoons by the side of a river in Alaska, man, there's an audience out there that wants to see it.
We'll see that.
And those algorithms will open up
Oh,
if
for real.
you are consistent enough. And
Ooh, there you go.
I really feel like there's room for us all, you know, to be successful
I love
and to have an audience.
to have an audience.
Whether that translates to money or not, because
Right.
really it's bigger than that.
Right.
It's to be seen. You know what I mean? It's to feel value. It's to be, it's like so hard as a musician playing all these, sports bars at times where there's TVs going and idiots drinking and nobody paying attention
Drunk
because
people,
music's been reduced to just some side entertainment at a bar versus like a sacred thing that people go to experience.
Right.
It's just something we get to entertain the drunks, and that devalues on a deep level for us playing and all the musicians out there that and it's good work that you do going out there in the service world and playing those gigs. You do what you got to do, but it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard because this is sacred. This is, this is important.
It's more than just.
We've
It's
never heard it
important
like
to
that.
us, It
it is important. You're
and it's important for y'all and everybody that's not a musician too. I mean, imagine a world in which no music exists.
Man.
And everybody started in that random place, in that random bar, even if that kid sucks. And you're like, boy, it doesn't sound very good. But guess what, man? There's plenty of times that I sound like shit. And it's like, it's just important.
You ever seen the movie called Equilibrium?
Equilibrium.
I think
That sounds familiar.
It's like a movie where it's kind of just what you described. It's like everybody dressed the same way, everybody does this thing, and then this guy goes in this house and he throws this guy through the wall that he's supposed to arrest, and he finds this record player. And the record player starts playing, and it flashes back to his childhood and all this.
What music did, huh?
Like he started seeing color, he started seeing different. But that's what it was, and you're exactly what you just said. It is what music is.
Music can do
It doesn't matter what you do in life, cousin. Working out, walking, watching your kids,
Yeah,
cleaning.
it's-
music becomes something, and especially the music that touches you different.
Yeah,
That when you sing, emotions come.
Well, and
That's
it
what
happens at
music is.
different times too. Where
Right.
it's like there's most of the time I'm not moved by a heavy metal track, but
Yeah,
every
right.
now and then and again,
You listen to one of them
where it
songs.
hits, I'm like feeling
No,
it.
hey, you ain't lying. That's
Some people are in that energy all the time and they're walking through it. So it's all important and it's all what makes it sacred to me is like it's it's proof that we exist.
Yeah.
It's presence and it's human and it's
come on.
But that's like
powerful,
going back to that movie.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's
That's
that movie. What I'm saying, cousin, is exactly that.
exactly that.
You know what I mean? It's like how he asked us. Imagine a world without music.
And then imagine hearing music. Everyone
see,
would
that's
shut up.
Like
That's
to me, cousin, I couldn't imagine a world
See,
like
one
that.
thing that people don't, and I've talked about this a lot with my friends and with other people. People don't understand. They don't look at entertainment and singer-songwriters as a service job. Like they don't see the servitude. They don't see the what they're bringing to humanity. And they don't. And it's like we think of policemen and
They're doing a
fire
service,
departments,
right?
and it's
But we don't
honorable.
see what.
But sometimes we forget about it because it's been reduced to a bag of Doritos or
Right.
to like the bar band or something like that. We don't realize that it's a reflection and also shaped our emotions and is the power of stories and it lives on so much. I mean, it's truly sacred and incredible, and it is a servitude, and it does take a lot of. There's only very few people that hit that Michael Jackson,
you're right.
superstardom level, but there are millions upon millions of people who have devoted their lives to music. Which enriches our lives every day.
Hey, man, brother.
For real, man. That's
Hey, look, we got to move on with this part of our show. All right, look, we're coming to this part of our show,
out.
Cash, where we throw out rapid fire questions.
yeah. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and you got to answer.
Let me put another nicotine patch.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is to end it off. This is to end it off.
Yeah.
Hey, shout them out. Yeah, hell yeah.
Look, and you
Send
got
me a
to.
box of on to.
Hey, send Kaz. Come on, send it to Kaz. We need that.
Okay, I'm ready.
Rapid fire questions, and you got to answer them. I'll start first, and these can be random questions, Cash. All right.
Okay.
So I'll start first. What is something people misunderstood about you?
Everything.
All right, that's
Hey, look.
simple as that.
We got a good answer.
So
to
do I have to ask questions as well?
No,
Great.
we got
I was
it.
like, man, I don't know if I
We're
can
just
come
throwing
up
out,
with-
we're just throwing out questions. People
All right,
ask us to ask you and stuff like that. So
Okay, let's see. Dream collab. If you had just one chance to work with anybody right now, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive?
great fucking.
And you can't say Bob Marley because I already know that. That
Yeah,
guy's
a lot of people. Yeah, we gotta cut them out.
Dream collab.
How about one dead and one alive? Let's do that.
I mean, I would.
And you can say Bob if you want.
You know, dream collab. Who have I actually really dreamed about doing a collab with? I mean, Willie Nelson would be a good one.
A country reggae man?
Yeah,
Not Willie Nelson.
You know,
is that
Willie likes the reggae.
right? Yeah, he likes to partake the
I mean,
reggae.
there's a lot, man. I'm a huge Sam Cooke fan, so Sam Cooke. You know, there's multiple people. Even Paul. I'm a huge Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder. If I could have a collab with a 25-year-old Stevie Wonder,
Ooh, wee.
25-year-old James Brown. That's another one.
Bro.
There's a lot.
Damn. All right. I like that.
was a
I like
good
that.
question, cuz.
And an odd one, Louis Prima. Do you know Louis Prima?
Don't.
Come on, who's that?
One of the most soulful guys you don't know. So you do know his songs. And every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Shooby dooby. You know the J Book song that he did?
Hold up.
So that was written and performed by Louis Prima back in the 50s. So he also did
J.
he also did
Is Louis like?
I ain't got nobody. He's like the mobster singer.
oh my dude.
Dude, Louis.
No, I.
So you
don't.
got to Google Louis Prima.
Okay.
And watch a performance by Louis Prima.
He's him. He's
Yeah.
him, huh?
He does that. I'm just a gigolo, and everywhere I go, people know the card I'm playing. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah,
He's like in all the movies
they
and all the
sampled all
mob
that?
shows.
Okay,
This
okay.
guy was he was like an electrifying performer,
We own it.
out of this world, and such a voice. One of the
Yeah.
most soulful Italian voices on the planet.
We own
Hey,
it.
I'm not gonna lie, cause those Italian singers, man, they
They got
my
passion.
They
God.
different. They different. Huh?
Especially because they're just like this, cousin. No music involved. You know what I mean? And you feel that shit in here. You're
Yeah,
like,
you ain't lying.
damn, what the hell?
Pasta, baby.
It's you.
It's my turn, cuz?
Yeah, bro.
All right,
Come on.
I got one. Somebody asked me to ask you, what's the best advice you ever received?
You know, I probably already talked about it. I mean, stand in your own light is powerful, has been powerful for me. Meaning, I don't need your opinion when it comes down to my art. Meaning, like, know what you like.
Right. Stand firm. on that.
Stand
on it.
firmly in that, you know, and it's like, it kind of, it washes up when you don't like, you know, if you can stand in your own light and know what you like and go with that, it's going to lead you down the path that you're meant to go. Versus always like,
Yeah, I like that.
like, you know, I remember all the times of recording something and really I was just fishing for compliments. And sometimes,
Hey,
like,
we
dude,
think
this
that,
sucks,
yeah,
bro. Like, I think this is horrible. And you're like, oh, I shouldn't even ask. But there's like a certain power that comes from like knowing what you like. And, you know, it's not about not having guidance. That's one thing. But it's like having conviction and knowing who you are and knowing what you like and moving through that in an honest way versus always trying to forecast, is this good? Or is, you know, I'm going to ask this person or ask that person. That's a lot of wasted energy. You know, so
that.
stand in your own light.
Ooh, yeah.
Come on,
hell yeah.
stand firm.
I like that. All right.
Cousin.
Um,
We'll go one more, then we'll move on to the next.
if you got to be remembered for one thing, your book's all done. You in the ground now. What's that one thing you don't want to
Being
be
a good dad.
Ooh, let me get one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's the ultimate compliment right
Why is
there.
that
And
important? Why is that important
And
to you, Cass?
It's just the most important thing.
Out of everything you've done in your life?
Yeah, man. Being
He's
a
a good
being
husband slash
a
father.
the best father that I can be and a good husband.
Damn.
You know?
Cass.
Because, dude, that's how your great grandkids are going to remember you, too, is the stories. Oh, whether he's a bastard. You know what I'm saying? Or he's a sorry son of a bitch. You know, versus you know, still feeling the blessings that I left behind. You know, I want my great grandchildren to be proud and to know me. And, you know, and that's another magical thing about writing songs of like leaving and being honest within that songwriting is like, think about your great grandkids. Think if you could go back to your great grandfather and hear his journals through his songwriting and songbook of his emotions and that he went through. How powerful would that would be for you being connected to who you are?
Super.
You know.
Super.
Yeah.
that.
No, I love that. My mama would say, if you want to see what you look like, look in the mirror. If you want to see who you are, look at your kids. Because your kids will tell you exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And I love that you said that, man. You know what I mean? That's powerful to me. Because me and cousin are both dads, and there's nothing in this world that we ever would choose over them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter the headaches and pains and diapers and sacrifices we make as parents, but
It's all
Them-
part of it.
Them little motherfuckers, Cash.
I know, man. Just embrace who they are.
I got one from a kid that's
Last
in
one?
the
Last one?
yeah. Then we'll move on.
Okay.
The kid that's doing music, but he wanted me to ask you, Cass, what is one thing that you would say to somebody that to keep them motivated, even though they feel like this ain't the journey for them?
And this
Keep
is
going.
to play music or just in life?
Yeah, or both. Yeah, or
You know,
both. Yeah, just
I mean, I think an important thing when you're pursuing something like this or any business is to like always like, you know, make lists of like what your goals are, and then check in. And you know, every 3 or 4 months, what I do is I kind of check in on like what my goals were, if I achieved them, what I experienced trying to get to them, and then I refine my approach. I get rid of the things that I didn't like and that didn't work, and that I refine my approach. I don't just keep doing the same thing. And so I'm always kind of checking in. I'm always making lists, even through the day. I have goals throughout my day, and I try to focus on progress. And I try to look at the long picture, and it's like do stuff.
Do stuff.
Do stuff.
Okay.
Do stuff and refine your approach if you're not getting the results that you want. And you're gonna get what you want. If you keep refining your approach, you're gonna get closer, and you're gonna feel progress, and you're gonna feel momentum, and you're gonna be inspired because you're gonna, you know, start getting that reciprocal energy back from whatever you're doing, whether it's the people you're wanting to reach or the business, you know, or whatever. So it's just keep refining your approach and check in with yourself, make lists, have goals,
Amen.
short
Write 'em
term,
down.
long term, write it down.
You gotta write it down.
Write it down.
I like that. One more?
Cause now we're gonna move in. So we're gonna move into our last game that we play, and it's a cultural question. Obviously, this is culturally rooted.
Okay.
So
Uh-oh.
yeah,
Nah,
I
you
gotta
good.
get into this, Cash. Yeah, we gotta ask you this. What is one thing about your culture, Cash, that you love and appreciate, and what's one thing that you don't really agree with about your culture?
You know, the question is, what is my culture? You know,
There you go.
I mean, and that's a real hard question for me too, because I've never. But I'm just gonna go with Northeast Texas
Okay.
and country culture
Let's
where
do that.
where I live. One thing that I love about Texans is that, you know, people respect other people's space. Like, so where I live, it's like, you know, your neighbor and you'll help your neighbor out, but you also respect their privacy. You know, people don't just walk on other people's land, and people like give people space. We have a lot of space in Texas, and it's like something that, you know, we value as well, of like our privacy and stuff, but still carrying a warm energy.
Right.
You know, where I live, if you have a flat tower, someone's gonna help. Someone's gonna pull over and help you. But I just love that element of you know, kind of independence and people taking care of themselves. You know what I mean? Where it's like, where I kind of live in a place where, yeah, your neighbor will help you a couple times.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's
Yeah.
just like
Right,
you're not
right.
you're not taking care of your business,
Yeah.
kind of thing. I love that,
like that.
about the area. You know, and this is changing with time and with internet and with communications, but racism,
Okay.
people, you know,
Wow.
not understanding other cultures,
Right.
not understanding other points of view, is something that I think, you know, needs to be discussed more,
Right.
and just realize that, you know, we're all human.
Right.
Right.
You
Like
know,
that.
and it's definitely roots are where I live, and it's getting better and better with time, but it's still prevalent. You know, we all have our tribes, and we all glorify our own tribe and judge others.
Right.
You know, and so I'd like to, you know, something that I think we could work on.
No, I like that, Cass, because that's one thing that when we started this culturally rooted, that's one thing that we wanted to focus on, was telling other people's culture. Because if you don't understand somebody else's culture, then you're gonna live in fear of that person for the rest of your life. But when you find out the culture and you find out why he's like that, or
Yeah, what's
then you-
making him
right,
feel-
and then you
what's
find out
what's
he's not
making
even
this
that
guy
bad. He's not
racist?
even a bad
There
person.
you
You
go.
know what I
There you
mean?
go.
Well, dude, and honestly, where I live, a lot of people think they're racist, but guess what? you might see that very guy helping a
Right.
black family on the side of the road. But if it came down to it, like it's almost been just a type of ideology that they've bought into where their heart of hearts ain't actually racist.
Right.
Where when it comes down to it, it's just a poison and a sickness that they've like been handed down
Sickness,
from.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
No, it's true.
Because I know several people in my family where when it comes down to the matters of the heart, they would protect a young black child.
Yeah, right.
They would
Anybody.
pull over and help.
Come on.
Some good people.
Right.
But they might say something that makes you sick. We're
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
like,
the hell?
hell, why would
Like,
you
you're
say
so
that?
out of whack.
No,
you
that's
know?
true. But when you understand the culture and you understand people, how people were brought up, you start to find respect for them and understand that. And so that's what we try to do here in Culturally Rooted. We try to bring understanding to other people's culture, man. So I appreciate you for sharing that part of what you don't like about your culture, man.
Yeah,
Because that's very hard for people to
Yeah,
talk about.
for real. All right, look, I got one more. This is the last one, Cas. Name one thing about your culture that makes you you. And that culture can be the same, like Southern country. One thing that just identifies as you.
I mean, bro, like with Texas, I mean, we enjoy, like it kind of goes into that other question a little bit, but we enjoy a lot of like civil liberties that a lot of other people don't enjoy.
That's what's missing in this.
And it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, in Texas, I can educate my children at home without a bunch of government oversight telling me what I can teach my children.
That's normal. in
You know,
Texas.
and yeah, it is. It's normal, and I love that. I love the fact that you know what, I'm not a rich man, so I can't afford to hire some plumbing company to come dig a
Right.
$15,000 septic system. But where I live, I can dig my own stuff. And guess what?
My
I
neighbor
might
can
just be
help me.
smart enough to
Right.
study
Figure
it
it
and to
out.
actually get a good septic system in. And if it ain't good,
Come on.
it's my right.
I did it anyway.
I only paid $1,200. You know, smells like shit outside, but you know, there's
I love
something
that.
great about Texas in that regards. We really do enjoy a lot of civil liberties, and it's like me being man. I was raised. My parents were kind of Democrat, even though we were in a conservative state. And I was always kind of leaned to like the left of like, you know, social issues,
Right.
and like stuff like that. But I really appreciate Texas for its conservative roots.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm neither.
standing firm.
I'm not a conservative or a liberal. I'm neither. But I appreciate that they both exist and they both ask each other questions and that they're striving for some kind of balance and common ground. I don't believe one way's the right way, you know, and yeah, you know.
Nah, that's dope, Cash. Look,
Yeah.
yeah, man, we're coming to the end of our show. I want to just first of all give you your roses, man, your flowers. I've been a fan of yours, man, since way back. You know what I mean? HET to doing covers, coming to your show, and to finally have you sitting here, man. It's a blessing to me myself, man. So I just want to say thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Music is different. It brings people together, and so you just telling your story today, man, lets me know that this was your gift that God gave you, because this is exactly what you're doing. You're bringing people together. You make people feel happy when they leave your concert. You make people talk about you, and that's exactly what music's supposed to do. Music's supposed to bring you joy in your life when nothing else does, and that's exactly what you're doing, brother. And I want to be the first to say thank you and give you your roses and say, hey, man, you got a fan for life, my guy.
Thank you guys.
And
I really
you.
appreciate you having me. I had a good time, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for having me.
Time over to
So
cousin.
great.
Go ahead,
Oh,
cousin.
really? No, I just want to piggyback off my guy. Look, man, we've seen you all over YouTube. We've seen you on TV. I think, man, I wish that was one of the first live performances I've seen of you. Blew my mind. Look, and just the fact that you're sitting here with us right now, it's wild. And what cousin said is true, man. Like, your singing ability is a gift from God, and you connecting a lot of people that probably wouldn't be connected. And so give you them flowers, man. Hey, look, Cas got a concert tonight. We gonna be up in there.
Pull
we gonna
up.
get some we're gonna get some
It's some
footage.
music in
But
your
if y'all don't
system.
know Cas, look, we
Yeah.
about to show y'all tonight.
Park City.
Yeah, come
Right?
on.
The
Go ahead.
cabin.
The cabin, pull up.
Go ahead and turn it over to you if you got
Yeah,
anything to
anything
say,
you
and
gotta
we're done.
say.
Dude,
Shout out.
I'm honored to be here. I really appreciate it. It was fun. It was like a therapy session. I was telling myself I wasn't gonna go deep, but I can't not. You know what I mean?
appreciate
It's
you.
like,
We like it. We like
I really enjoyed chatting with you guys. And
appreciate
thank you for inviting me.
Hey,
All love,
thank y'all
all
for
love.
tuning in.
Hell yeah.
Culturally Rooted. We out of here. Yes, sir.